18 for 18 or 15 of 15, something like that. I had some sick start to a game in Fresno against Wyoming. There's a Baylor game. I think I was 33 of 35 or 31 of 33, something like that. But,
that's good against air, right?
Yeah, no, he's better than me. So that's the goal, right? The one I coach is better than me. So
yeah. Coach Trent Dilfer for a few more moments straight off the practice field. He's presented by Legacy Credit Union. You can learn from wins and losses, obviously. In this loss to Georgia Southern, I wonder how much you learned from your team. You got down 14-0 because you missed a field goal. You had a turnover on downs. Things just weren't going your way. But once it was 14-0, it just started to click. I mean, what did you learn from your team in this loss?
Well, yeah, it will go good, bad, right? So the good stuff we learned is we have a really good soul to this team. Like, they didn't flinch. They didn't panic. Their self-talk was good. The energy was good. Coordinators, new coordinators didn't panic. There was no sense of woe is me. It was, okay, here's the challenge ahead of us. Let's deal with it and find solutions to what we're going through. The bad part is that we continue to have self-inflicted wounds, right? So we fumble the ball. We turn over 3 times the other team. Defensively, alignment, assignment, communication, like just breakdowns that are on us. Now, more good news is everything's fixable, right? If these were situations where you give up 49 or you can't score and you need to score and it's because the guy's not fast enough or you can't block long enough or you can't, right? If there's all a bunch of can'ts, then we'd be worried. But these are all cans. These are easily fixable. You fix them during the week. We've just definitely addressed some of them this week and look to improve upon them against Louisiana.
So you've got 4 turnovers through 2 games. Is it a situation where would you take, if you knew you'd only turn the football over 1 time a game, is that doable?
I mean, my expectation is 0.
Yeah.
I told it to the team this year, we went 9 games. The Lipscomb didn't turn the ball over. I think I might be wrong, unless you can fact check me. I think we had 9 in the last 2 years. It's about habits, and that's why I stressed to the team was you need better habits in practice that carry over to games. So yes, we stress that we do ball security every day. We're relentless about it. And the message to the coaches, well, let's now be obnoxiously relentless about it. And let's hold them to a standard in their habits, whether it's ROA, routes on air, and you're catching a ball. It's got to be a tight tuck, quick turn, arm bar around the ball. Let's look at everybody that touches the ball and make sure that their habits are the right way. With Jacob, it's, the one thing about the interception is actually reading the play right. He was off platform and the ball went too low on him instead of having some arc to it. So we worked on off platform throws this week with some arc. So, Matt Quinn's missed 2 field goals. The guy's a pro. The guy's one of the best kickers Conference USA ever saw. He missed field goals. What do? You go work on timing, the operation, make sure the timing's in fact. That's what that's why I was late, to be honest with you. We were putting that together. So you just go to work and you go to work on things that you're already good at to get better at them. And you address things that have been challenges for you to this point. You give them the why. You don't freak out about it, and then you go to work at improving those things.
You are not late, Coach. The show is not over yet. UAB and Louisiana, it is Saturday night, Protective Stadium, 6 o'clock. Go catch the Blazers and the Raging Cajuns. It is the Camp Smile-A-Mile game. Great night there at Protective Stadium. Coach, thank you so much for the time. Have a great week. Good luck Saturday.
Come out just to see the new black jerseys that I designed myself.
Oh,
how about that?
Coach designed them,
yes,
so let's go watch them.
Yeah. Thank you, Coach. Take care.
See you guys.
All right, buddy.
You.
Yeah, thank you. That is Coach Trent Dilfer, courtesy of Legacy Credit Union.
Yeah, our friends at Legacy, everyday checking now available for teens as well, 13 to 17-year-old, with adult signings. To get more details and to apply online, just go to legacycreditunion.com/join. legacycreditunion.com/join. Terms and conditions may apply. Legacy is federally insured by the NCUA. Once again, coming up at the top of the hour.
It's Unlocked, this most recent Unlocked. Lance fresh out of the oven with Brock Heward yesterday.
Hey, find out why he pissed blood.
Yeah, there's a heck of a tease. Find out why Brock pissed blood.
That's right. And why Vampire? No, that was this show. Vampires and Garlic. That's coming up next. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to click on anything. It just starts magically here at the top of the hour. Don't forget Bud Light Game Night tonight at 10 to Roof. And then we'll see you back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3 ongoing right now. NextRoundLive.com. Listen and watch what's coming up and go play the Pick 3 too. NextRoundLive.com. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Maybe just a precursor to what we're going to get this weekend in college football last night, with Navy and Memphis being a really entertaining game, even though it was a double-digit point spread. Closer than it looked like it was going to be NFL game. We'll get to all that and a lot more. These guys had a blast at Tin Roof last night, where we talked a lot about the games coming up this weekend. Man, the Tin Roof crowd looked exciting, a good place last night. I always love when we go down there to Tin Roof. Fun show last night.
Yeah, we had a good time, man. I don't know if we had as much fun as you. You might have had a bigger crowd. We were kind of in that happy hour stage, Brown.
Yeah.
So, kind of before...
We saw the transition, didn't we?
Yeah, before the kids roll in, we'll call it. But it was a good time. We appreciate everything from Bud Light. Next week, we'll be at the grocery in Homewood for Bud Light game night. We'll have great specials and opportunities to win a lot of good stuff.
The Grocery Brew Pub is where we'll be next Thursday night for Bud Light game night. Remember, in person, come out, shoot that QR code. It's the only way you register for Alabama-Auburn tickets at the end of the year. The big game down at Jordan-Hare Stadium. That's where EG will be this week. She's at the Samford Auburn game covering that for us here at Disrupt the Media in the next round. We look forward to her trip down to Auburn. If you're heading to the games, the Pants Store can get you geared up. Alabama and Auburn game day polos, hats, and quarter zips. Choose from famous name brands. You guys enjoy the Gentile, Cutter and Buck, the Antigua, the Elephant Head, and the Taylor and Mick. And ladies, look no further than your game day needs with skirts, rompers, clear bags, and booties, all at the Pants Store. Anywhere you're watching us, pantsstore.com, pantsstore.com. Our 6 locations in Auburn, Crestline, Hoover, Huntsville, Leeds, and Tuscaloosa. We will get into the games on the field last night here in the first segment. Todd Furman in 1 hour from Vegas to talk about the betting lines on some of the biggest games this weekend. But I was on Hey Coach last night with Alabama head coach Nick Saban. And Alex Scarborough wrote a story that included this story back in 2018. But I just simply asked him about Friday nights. And he went into this story. And just hearing him and the excitement he tells the story, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Nick Saban last night on Hey Coach from the Crimson Tide Sports Network, listening to this story about what he loves about high school football on Friday nights.
What was your favorite part about Friday night football? I assume in West Virginia it was always Friday night for high school football as well, right?
It was Friday night.
What did you love about Friday nights?
Oh, man, I'll tell you what. The old traditions that the community related to the school. Like Monongah. Probably 30 years ago, they consolidated and made it North Marion. But everybody that lived in Monongah, the last person turned the lights out when the game came. Everybody went to the game. Everybody was interested in the school and the spirit of the school and who was in the band and who were the cheerleaders and everybody went to the game. And where I played, everybody bet on the game. So you've heard me say this before. They stand behind the bench, and I was the quarterback to say, we got to score again, we got to cover. So I love that. And Meff's was the little joint that there was a pool table, 2 card tables. Everybody played. I didn't play cards, but people played poker and gamble and all that. And there was a pinball machine. And if we won, it was the only pinball machine in town. We got a roll of nickels, and we played the pinball machine for free. If you lost, they never let you in. So somebody, because we're all underage, we weren't supposed to be in there anyway. So somebody asked me, how did you get like you are?
Yeah. You won enough games to get inside.
Had to win the game to get in.
There you go.
That's funny.
It's a great story.
AHSAA would have given them the death penalty over the nickels.
It's a bar, and underage, the high school kids can't get in unless they won on Friday night, and then the football players were allowed into the bar area there where the adults were.
Well, look, if you love football, a great movie from the 80s, and I know you guys have seen it, All the Right Moves with Tom Cruise. Back before he gets his veneers, Tom Cruise still had ratty teeth, Leah Thompson in the back seat. You remember Chris Penn, the late Chris Penn.
Yep.
But it showed that, and it showed how important, so they're in Pennsylvania for this, how important high school football was. And it was basically that. I mean, the entire town traveled with them when they went on a road game. And when they won a home game, those kids were in a bar, the local bar.
Yep.
And the locals were buying them beers. And so that's a great movie. Get a little recommendation if you don't want to watch Army and UTSA, Utah State Air Force tonight, Maryland and Virginia. That's one of those movies you can throw on and you will really enjoy if you've never seen it. But what I took from that, and I remember hearing this, back in the 70s in Birmingham, high school football was huge for local bookmakers. They had numbers on every game.
Now, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Bookmakers.
Big.
I know, I mean, just in Calhoun County, I saw it happen. People at the games, like Nick Saban was talking about, gambling on the actual game.
Parrish was the first place I ever saw it. When I came back.
The Tornadoes, right?
Yeah, when I came back from Lexington and went out to a high school football game on Friday night, I always tried to do the small away schools to make sure we'd get them back. And I remember going to Parrish and guys, on the back of a tailgate, and their cars got parked very close to the field. And I saw one guy holding the money as they were making their bets. And I asked a local guy, part of the chain gang, what's going on over there? And they said, oh, that guy holds the bets. People bet on these games.
Now, I grew up in Calhoun County over in East Alabama, and I know of guys, that played in games where if they won and they were not aware of the point spread, but if they covered the point spread, guys would give them the $100 handshake walking off field because they just won money on it. I mean, I know guys. I saw it happen. And Lunsford puts lines on football games, on high school football games. You can ask Lunsford.
I used to. So when I had what we would call maybe
Lunsford's tapping that down.
What's going on? I mean, Lunsford's mentioned it on the show before. Lunsford, Hoover Vestavia.
No, he's not back there. He's
crap. I need a Hoover Vestavia line.
We would call when I had a small problem. This was probably anywhere between 98 and 2005. But for the Super Six back then.
Yeah.
My local guys would put numbers on all those games. And I'll never forget, and I probably told this before, sitting at the old Superior Grill, watching on, I think, ABM 68. I think that was what it was on.
That's probably me doing the game, or Herb, or somebody like that.
I had Hoax Bluff for $1,000. Had $1,000 on Hoax Bluff on like the middle of a Thursday afternoon or Friday afternoon, drinking margaritas in Superior Grill.
With a bookmaker or with somebody that was there?
Well, no, with a bookmaker.
Yeah.
Like I had called in Hoax Bluff +7 or whatever. I'd gotten some inside information. It ended up hitting. Yeah. But I played some high school football back in the day.
I've never done a cash bet on a high school football game, but I have bet like a state dinner, just because I had to pay attention for some reason. But a buddy of mine whose kid's on the other team, and I'm like, I'll give you Vestavia, and I'll take 35.5. I think it was over at halftime.
Our buddy Jimmy.
No, that's who I bet with.
Okay.
It was stake by halftime.
Yeah.
I was like,
no, he puts a number on all these games, and he's got like 6 or 7 guys that he'll let them play whatever side, whatever they want.
Yeah, I mean,
either way.
He doesn't care.
But I mean, it's really that's really a cool story. I mean, that's small town football again. I mean, the AHSAA has just made Tuscaloosa County forfeit games because their coach gave kids a gift card to Buffalo Wild Wings. Because God knows we can't have kids going to eat for free.
Oh, my gosh. Is that really what happened?
Of course it's what happened. It's such an archaic, communistic entity, the AHSAA. It ought to be disbanded. I can't believe the colleges still use the NCAA. My God, we're in 2023. I cannot believe the NCAA still exists. How these colleges have not realized that it's stunting their growth of their sport. If they would just get rid of the NCAA and just let the Wild West occur, it would be so much better for all these schools. But they don't realize that for some reason. And the same's true for all these high schools. Why not just punt? I mean, it's a voluntary group. You don't have to be a part of the HSAA. It's stupid.
Yeah, you almost wonder internally if they're like, hey, we're paying you $10 million. I know you don't like them, but this basketball deal we've got, this tournament, is such a moneymaker.
Talking about the NCAA?
Yeah.
The NCAA tournament's in trouble. That's why they're going to expand sooner rather than later, because if they don't, the Big Ten and the SEC will create their own championship tournament because they're growing so big.
And it'll be a worse tournament, but they'll control the money on it.
Yeah, but they're going to expand from the 68 teams we have now to somewhere between a bigger number, less than 96 or up to 96, just so that they can still have their NCAA money, because if not, the SEC and the Big Ten will take the big power money and go create another tournament with their media partners, and and make all the money.
Yeah, that's a cool story Saban told, though. I mean, that is small town high school football. I mean, it's what you love about like a little small town. The whole community comes out,
and you saw him light up too.
Oh yeah, he loved that story. You're playing for a roll of nickels, so you can go play a pinball machine.
But he started off talking about being paranoid is better. It makes you a better competitor. Being paranoid, to think everyone's out to get you, to think everyone's out to beat you. It makes you paranoid. So that goes back a little insight on why Nick Saban is the way he is, being so competitive, all the way back to high school, just trying to get into MEFs so he can get back there and play that nickel pinball machine as the quarterback. And Alex Scarborough with a good story about Saban's high school years from about 2018, 2019. You can go look that up on ESPN.com, a little audio that accompanies that right there.
I wonder if it was funny when he was talking about them betting on the game, and he goes, I love that.
Yeah,
I thought that was interesting. I wonder if he knew the point spread. Well,
he said in the bite, he said, I was the quarterback, and I turned around and said, we got to score one more time to cover.
That's right. So he was at least aware at that point of the point spread. I don't know if he was aware going into the game. Like, there are certain coaches, like James Franklin, 100% knows the point spread. All you got to do is go look at week one and know that James Franklin knows the point spread.
We know Mark Stoops does.
Mark Stoops 100% knows
I mean,
the
you
point
saw it
spread,
again week one this year.
Yeah.
You wonder if anybody ever told Saban, hey, look, we're up 38. This number was 35. I need you to fumble that snap.
Here we go. It's getting to the games on the field last night. Closer than expected with Navy and Memphis, and then a really entertaining back end of the NFL game after the Eagles flexed their muscle. We'll get to all that after we tell you about our friends at Chicken Cock getting you ready for the weekend.
Yeah, hey, weekend is here. Pick up the official bourbon here on the next round. That is Chicken Cock Bourbon Whiskey. You're going to absolutely love it. It's got the unique name. It's got the unique bottle. There is a story behind that. Chicken Cock Whiskey, one of the oldest whiskey brands in America, founded in 1856 in Bourbon County, Kentucky, known as the famous Old Brand. Chicken Cock Whiskey has a name you won't forget. Chicken Cock preceded popular usage of the term rooster in describing a male chicken. Additionally, rooster tails were used to stir cocktails, i.e. the cocktail. Again, you can order the additional, all expressions are online. You can get the bourbon and rye in Alabama, but all of their brands, chickencockwhiskey.com.
Yeah, chickencockwhiskey.com. As LT said, some interesting games tonight, Virginia and Maryland. FS1 at 6 o'clock tonight, Talia Tungavaloa for Maryland in that one. Virginia has struggled. We'll see what kind of game that is. Army and UTSA, contrasting styles. Frank Harris has not been 100% all season long. And Utah State and Air Force in a rivalry game late. Last night, Miami, nationally ranked, no problem with Bethune-Cookman, 48-7. But Memphis and Navy is the one that I hope is a precursor to the weekend coming up. Because I don't know what they went off at mybookie.ag, but I pictured Memphis being close to a two. They were double-digit favorites.
Yeah, it was 13.5.
13.5, close to a full two-touchdown favorite in that one. And really, Memphis had to pull it out late, 28-24, in the win over Navy there. Surprisingly entertaining football game.
Yeah, it was. I thought about playing Navy. I just didn't feel good about it. They're doing a complete makeover, it looks like, and ended up playing the over, and we were fortunate to get 21 first-quarter points because that total was 48.5, and we sneak over at 52. But, yeah, it was a fun game to watch. I don't know how good Memphis is.
Oh, I don't either.
Yeah, I don't think very.
Yeah, I'm just saying the game didn't interest me at all, but a lot of us don't think there's many interesting games this weekend. I'm just setting that up to say that could be a precursor that some of these double-digit point spread this weekend could produce some entertaining football games.
Memphis, who is now 3-0, to your point, had to struggle to beat 1 and 2 Navy teams. So maybe that is a sign of things to come.
Could Tennessee, Florida? Could LSU, Mississippi State? Could South Carolina, Georgia? Could those be good games?
Not historically, but recently in college football, in recent history in college football, I have found that the weekend that upsets the snow globe more than any is the one you normally least expect. Like, you look at the weekend and you're like, oh, God, I mean, Oklahoma's going to Iowa State. They ought to win that game going away, and boom, Iowa State somehow beats Oklahoma. And you're like, USC's playing Washington State on a Friday night. They're a 20-point favorite, and Washington State beats USC. I mean, those are the ones you don't expect. Now, normally it's later in the year. Rarely is it in September.
Yeah, I think we talked about this a little bit earlier in the week. Yeah. And I agree with you. I would put the number right now at 4.5 because Vegas hasn't really got their lines all adjusted going into week 3. I would put the over-under at 4.5 of double-digit dogs winning games outright this weekend. Yeah. I think we'll see And again, there's no top 25 matchup.
4.5.
Yeah.
Double-digit dogs
yep.
winning outright.
Right.
Yeah, because we talked about this yesterday.
Yeah.
Brown's thesis, we talked about on the show yesterday on how sleeping weekends end up being upsets. But 4.5 double-digit dogs win outright.
Listen, I know this is how these weekends are built, but, man, just when I dig through these top 25 opponents.
I might need to pull back and say over 7.5 points. How about that? More than a touchdown favorite. I would say there will be. I would put the over at 4.5.
Dunaway does not like absolutes. Now, there is weather in the Florida State-Boston College game, I am told. Apparently, it's a hurricane.
Well, you know who's on the game, right?
It's Lugaville, so of course there's bad weather.
Well, I mean, it's the remnants of that hurricane, of a hurricane that has.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll technically be a hurricane still when it's there.
Yeah, but it's hurricane crap that's going to be blowing into Boston. Is that what during the game?
A lot of rain, delays probably.
All right. No chance Boston College beats Florida State. No chance.
No. Yeah.
I don't know what the weather's going to be in Champaign, but no chance Illinois beats Penn State.
I mean, that one's more realistic.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll happen.
I don't think Georgia or Penn State will lose.
Okay.
But those two games at least have a roster on the other side that they should be closer than we expect.
Now, Mississippi State could beat LSU, but again, now if that happens, LSU's going to be 1-2, and I know point spread-wise it's going to be an upset. It qualifies for Lance is talking about, but do you think most of the country is going to be surprised if Mississippi State beats LSU? I think they'll look at that and like, boy, LSU, that is an underachieving team this year. But that one does qualify for you there, Lance. Boy, I tell you what, man, these top 25 games, I just can't find them.
Here's one.
Give me one.
Minnesota, North Carolina.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, well,
That's over a touchdown.
I'm just flying down through here to find some games that could be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Northwestern.
Top 25 games. Ready?
All right, go.
Georgia, South Carolina. I mean, as soon as I say it, it could be 47-0.
I mean, Georgia is almost a 4-touchdown favorite.
I know.
It's crazy.
Just saying, it could be interesting. Penn State, Illinois.
Yep.
Penn State's much better team. Could be interesting. Washington at Michigan State. Washington, much better team.
Well,
could be
and
interesting.
Michigan State without a coach. I mean, you never know how those things play in. Sometimes it inspires a team.
Right.
Sometimes the team plays like they hadn't looked at a playbook all week. I mean, you don't know.
Tennessee, Florida. Tennessee's a better team. Could be interesting. LSU at Mississippi State. LSU's a better team. Could be interesting. Kansas State at Missouri. Kansas State's a better team. In fact, everyone, the sexy upset pick is Missouri over Kansas State, right? Everyone's talking about that.
Again, that number's 3.5, so I don't think anybody's going to be surprised.
Oregon State hosting San Diego State. San Diego State record is better than they played. Oregon State, much better team.
Yeah, I would be shocked at that one.
Could be interesting. Ole Miss, Georgia Tech. Ole Miss, much better team. Georgia Tech could be interesting because of the Tech roster and the way they play defense. And with now everything going on off the field with Lane Kiffin. More on that a little bit later on. North Carolina, Minnesota, you mentioned. PJ Fleck's team. Could be interesting. Duke and Northwestern. I don't think it's commonplace right now. We just assume Duke is going to beat a Big Ten team, even though Duke is 4 touchdowns better than Northwestern.
Oh, Northwestern is so bad. Yeah.
So those are the games that could be interesting coming up. We'll get into the Lane Kiffin thing in full voice here in the next segment, but we'll get to the NFL and what we saw last night as well. But it could be a fun college football weekend as we get ready for Alabama to travel to South Florida and Auburn to play host to Samford, and then the big game with UAB hosting Louisiana down at Protective Stadium. You can get more on that conversation with Brown and Jacob Zeno and with our conversation with Trent Dilfer yesterday on the show, wherever you get our podcast and videocast there. Moore's Marinade sets us up for last night's NFL game. Tell us about Moore's Marinade.
Jimmy D, it's time to hit the grill this weekend. In fact, steak night, date night tonight at the Brown House. We'll have that Moore's Marinade out there. You could do it as well. You could be a hero on the grill this football weekend with Moore's Marinades and their Buffalo Wing Sauce. Don't forget their Buffalo Wing Sauce as well. It adds perfectly tangy flavor that will keep you licking your fingers even after the wings are gone. You can dip, drizzle, or slather Moore's Buffalo Wing Sauce on everything you eat. From chicken fingers to burgers to sandwiches, pizza, pasta, tacos, fries, and more. See why grill masters prefer Moore's Marinades and Wing Sauces. Visit mooresmarinades.com. You can also get recipe ideas and grilling inspiration at mooresmarinades.com. Make it a championship weekend with Moore's Marinades.
Oh, if you were watching last night and you thought to yourself, oh, the Philadelphia Eagles are trying to copy Auburn with an Eagle flight pregame, you're wrong. They're not copying Auburn. They just flew in the whole Auburn Raptor Corps. This is actually Independence, the one that flies, the eagle that flies at Jordan-Hare Stadium. And the people who do the flight, they all got the flight up for the home opener for the Eagles. And that's Independence doing the Jordan-Hare around the link last night.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I would keep it going if I was Philadelphia. I'd be
too.
like, hey, look, we give Auburn credit.
Yep.
They created this, but, I mean, that's just one of the best traditions in all of football.
That is such a cool look.
You'd fly the Auburn Raptor team up?
Well, I mean, I would go train my own eagle.
Yeah, so easy to do. Those guys.
I can't even train a damn Vizsla.
Well, where do we park the car with the eagle? Oh, that's Boston.
That's
I don't know how they
Jeff.
say it in Philadelphia.
That's Boston.
They did that, and then the
With a
Eagles
bunch of
came out
F-bombs.
and get a Georgia Bulldog to run all over Minnesota. DeAndre Swift rushed for 175. He looked good behind a great offensive line. Eagles win it 34-28. A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts having words on the sidelines. Receivers want the ball. Jalen Hurts hit a big one to Devontae Smith. I don't know if he's worried about it just being Alabama. He's targeting the Alabama alum more, but A.J. just wants the ball more. They say afterwards it's no big deal, that just being competitive spirits. This Eagles team's 2-0, but just doesn't feel the same way right now.
Man, they were getting booed in the first half. Yeah, they seem really, really choppy. You know, great start last weekend in Foxborough, and then they had to do everything to hold on and get that win on the road. And then they were really, they weren't as sloppy as Minnesota. Minnesota, 3 first-half turnovers. They turned it over. They've got now 7 turnovers in 2 games. You can't win football games. That's why they're 0-2. They would have won both of these games against your Bucks and against the Eagles last night if they don't turn it over. And that turnover, I was talking to employee number 12 in the elevator on the way up, and they had Jordan Jefferson on their fantasy team. And that fumbled through the end zone. I loved it because we had the under last night. We were 2-1. The under was one of our plays. Ultimately didn't get there. But I was like, this is how unders happen.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right. It remains the dumbest rule in all of sports. I will never, no matter how many people on Twitter try to explain to me why the rule exists, understand that rule. It's the dumbest rule in sports. But it was a massive play in that game. And Jefferson just stretching for the end zone. Because not only did it take points off the board for Minnesota there, it gave Philadelphia the ball back, and they were able to drive and get that bomb field goal at the end of the half.
61-yarder from Jake Elliott.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the play of the game. It really was. I just can't believe how sloppy Minnesota is with the football. And for whatever reason, we thought Philadelphia would be the best team in the NFC. They represented last year in the Super Bowl. They just seem like something's off, but they're 2-0.
Well, everything went Minnesota's way last year. And you got to think that everything's probably going to go against them this year. At least that's the way it looks in the first 2 weeks.
They were unbelievable in one-score games last year.
They won every one of them.
They're now 0-2 in one-score
Now,
games.
before I saw our friend Peter Burns was wearing one of the next round shirts today on SEC, I was watching a little bit of ESPN, and I heard people talking about Kirk Cousins to the Jets.
Oh, JETS.
Kirk Cousins was good last night, really good.
Yeah, which
wasn't
is
his
rare
fault.
for him in prime time.
Yeah.
He broke that streak.
Did we send Burnsy a smedium? Is that what we sent Burnsy?
Well, it's probably a large. I mean,
I think so.
our shirts are what
They
what
do
I would
run a
call
size small. I try to tell people
slim
that. Yeah.
fit.
Yeah, they are slim fit. I always tell people if you don't want the shirt touching you, you go a size up. That's what I do.
Yeah, if you're listening to us, there's a picture up right now of Peter Burns on SEC This Morning on the SEC Network wearing one of the Y'all Can Have the Rest T-shirts that Brown designed way back in the beginning, the first year we were doing this. He had it on today on their show. A lot of love on social media for that great-looking shirt, and we appreciate Peter doing that this morning.
Hey, so back real quick to the Eagles. I told you guys in our Calcutta I took them number 2 overall. KC went number 1. I've got major concerns.
Yeah.
They just don't look whole right now. And when you can go out, you're at home, you outrush someone 259-28, you're +3 in turnovers, and you win the game by a possession. And Minnesota's not a great team. So if you're a Philadelphia fan, it's great to be 2-0, but at the same time, you got a lot of things to fix.
Justin Jefferson, it is Justin, right?
Yeah.
Justin
Yes.
Jefferson. Justin Jefferson. I get him and Jordan confused. Justin Jefferson, fastest in NFL history to 5,000 receiving yards, and ties Lance Allworth from his AFL days to the fastest pro receiver to 5,000 yards. So way to go for Justin Jefferson, the former LSU Tiger there. A lot of SEC on the field last night making big-time plays. So that's the Thursday night, big night, Friday night ahead, and then all the Saturday, Sunday, and Monday action to come. We'll jump into that. And don't forget, we'll tell you about the Pick 3 as well. NextRoundLive.com. You can go play that. We'll jump into that next. Michelson Laser Vision with our look ahead. MichelsonLaserVision.com, LT.
Yeah, make the phone call that I made over 2 decades ago, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the Next Round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation, 0 to lose, to find out if LASIK is right for you. Again, 205-969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. For more information, MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Follow Rockstar on Twitter @RockstarBHM.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
There are so many things I love about Walk-Ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-Ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 in Hoover with Walk-Ons.
The Next Round brought to you by the biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, the Talladega Super Speedway. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming up. You don't want to miss it. The action kicks off Saturday, September 30th with the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, all leading up to the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs on Sunday, October the 1st. Be there to see these drivers battle for 500 miles to survive and advance to the next round of the playoffs. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Again, that is TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
As summer bids adieu, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pest, it's fall invader season. Hold on tight, because we've got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight: box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your fall. Take charge today.
You want to look great while supporting your favorite show? You know the place to go is the official Next Round store at nextround.store. Yes, there are .store domains, and we have one. From shirts to hoodies to hats and all kinds of fun stuff, you can rep the Next Round anywhere you go. At the beach, Next Round hats to block out that sun. Up north in the winter, get you a comfy Next Round hoodie. Just need something to put your $20 beer in at a game? Get you a Next Round koozie and throw that thing in your pocket. You never know what stuff Jim's going to make me put in there next. Check it out. It's the Next Round store at nextround.store.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick, the type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera, and the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
Hey, right now at nextroundlive.com, you can jump into the Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3, all the great Buffalo Wild Wings locally. A good place to go enjoy lunches and dinners and watch the games, right, LT? I mean, you have all the big screens there to go by, the great beer selections, just hang out with our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, great place to go for weekends to watch all of the games. Almost all of the locations, if they're not new, they're newly remodeled. They've also got that app to go check out our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, and it's nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com. Lunsford has that. He manages that. A little over 50 winners the first week, just under 50, over 40 in the 40 to 50 range of winners this past week. If you go 3-0, you get a ball in the bucket. We draw out a winner for the big prize at the end of the year. If you go 2-1, tip of the cap, but you don't get crap. 1-2, we sort of shame you. 0-3, like I've been the first 2 weeks. We actually throw things at you. So
wow.
pretty bad over there at nextroundlive.com, brought to you by our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. We also appreciate our friends at Milo's, a great classic burger, man. It'll be part of my weekend plans when I get ready to watch football tomorrow. And if that's not enough, if you download the Milo's app after your first purchase, you get the original cheeseburger for free. Stuff your face, earn free stuff. Download the Milo's app today and start earning rewards with our friends at Milo's. Let's talk about the games in our Pick 3 this week, and you can go there and play the Pick 3 games right there at nextroundlive.com. I'm just going to throw out some games, and let's talk about them a little bit. Kansas State, Missouri. Brady Cook's been good. Will Howard has been good, coming off a 5-touchdown game against a good Troy team. Kansas State, 42-13 over a good Troy team. Goes into Missouri. Everyone's picking this game as an upset, it seems like. The point spread is low. But this game last year, Lance, it was 40-12. Kansas State won this game. It wasn't even close. How did the gaps close so much?
You know, I really don't know. I think this is just one of those road games, sleepy atmosphere. We still don't know much about Missouri. Kansas State, Chris Kleiman is really building a culture there. You know, they won the Big 12 last year. They lose Deuce Vaughn. I told you guys I didn't think there was going to be much of a drop-off as good of a player as he was because they had so much talent returning. And Will Howard looks to be the real deal, at least a Big 12 real deal quarterback. 5 touchdowns last week against a really a good Troy team, which they held to 70 rushing yards. It's a really good Kansas State team. This number is weird. Obviously, Missouri's got some players. I'm going to stay away from this game. If I was to play it, I'd play Missouri.
You mentioned Will Howard. He has thrown 2 interceptions. Got to be a little more careful with the football, but they seem to have replaced Deuce Vaughn.
And they've got 4 receivers that have 100-yard games already.
When in doubt on games like this, one thing I look at is headsets. It's not close in this game.
Because you don't like Eli and you like Kleiman.
Kleiman's a good football coach. Eli Drinkwitz is an overrated football coach. Kleiman is a good football coach. Now, look, that doesn't mean Kansas State's going to win the game, but I do look at that when you have toss-up games. So is there an obvious coaching advantage? And I think there is an obvious coaching advantage in this.
Well, here's the thing. Missouri can run the football, and if you can run the football, open things up, Luther Burden III is going to be the best player on the field. And he is Missouri's receiver. A lot of people don't know about him because Missouri doesn't necessarily have good quarterback play. Brady Cook has been solid. He hasn't thrown a pick. You mentioned Will Howard's thrown 2 so far this year. If they play clean football, a couple of big hits to Burden, I think they could actually win this game. And this could be one of those games that kind of flips everything around.
It would be the SEC's best non-conference win.
Yeah,
easy,
so far,
really.
So far. A lot of games to get to. Rockstar, hit the music, man.
Pick 3, it's time for the Pick 3. 3 for you and 3 for me, that equals a Pick 3. Say goodbye to your family, it's time for the Pick 3. Only time that I'm happy is when it's time for Pick 3.
And Penn State and Illinois is part of the Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3 as well. In the summer, you would say this is going to be a tricky game for Penn State. But so far, seeing how both these teams have played so far, it looks like an easy trip to Champaign for Penn State.
Yeah, the good news for Illini fans is you're better at quarterback with Luke Altmaier. The bad news is your defense is 10 times worse than it was last year. Don't understand what's happened there. Lose a lot in the secondary. Lose Ryan Walters, your defense coordinator, now Purdue's head coach. Penn State, the last meeting between these two, it went 9 overtimes. We remember the 20-19 win. We talked about this last night, Brown. It was back and forth on the 2-point conversions. Most of those weren't converted. Drew Aller, though, we've talked about him, the Penn State quarterback. He seems to be the real deal. Sean Clifford was solid. Drew Aller's next level.
6 yards carry is what Illinois is giving up. That's not good against Penn State there. Minnesota. Go ahead.
Yeah, they're giving up 224 yards per game, and you know Penn State is going to want to run the football. Singleton is really good at that.
Yeah, 6 yards per carry is a lot there. Minnesota, North Carolina, Brown. Running back O'Marion Hampton, 234 yards and 3 touchdowns last week. He's been really good. But when you talk about North Carolina, it starts with Drake May, and that kid made plays when they needed him to win that game against App State last week.
Yeah, I told you wrong. I was watching like 3 different games in crunch time at once. I thought he threw a touchdown pass in overtime. He did not throw a touchdown pass. And for them to score that many points and him not throw a touchdown pass in that game is pretty wild. I don't know how you would qualify Drake May's play so far this year. He's thrown 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, and he's only throwing 238 a game. He's not been what I thought he would be in the first 2 games.
It's because they've developed a running game, they didn't have last year, which makes them a more dangerous team to me. They've got a running game and a defense this year. Chip Lindsey a longtime high school head coach and a coordinator in the state and in college football, is the OC. Chiswick's the defensive coordinator. They seem to be more balanced.
Yeah, they are. And British Brooks, our starting running back, didn't even play last week, so he should be back in the lineup against Minnesota. But Minnesota, I brought this up on Stock Up. They have found their running back. This is a team that's only given up 16 points through 2 games. So the defense is going to be really good for P.J. Fleck. But Darius Taylor, the freshman running back, 193 yards last week. Watch out for him. If they can control the clock, keep Dre Make off the field, limit those plays, this could be another one of those upsets.
Brown, LSU, Mississippi State, and Starkville. I think we know what LSU is, and I'm not as worried about them coming after the loss to Florida State. Don't really know what Mississippi State is, but this is an opportunity for Zach Arnett to make a statement here.
It's a heck of a flip around when you consider that Mississippi State through 2 games has the leading rusher in the conference in Jaquavius Marks.
Impressive.
I mean, that's really, I don't know that we've given Zach Arnett enough credit for turning that around that quickly from a pass team that almost ignores the run game to having the leading rusher through 2 games, granted, and they haven't played great teams, but I mean, that's just philosophy-wise, one heck of a turnaround.
I mean, Arizona's not a great team, but they're not
good.
They're not a horrible
They're
team.
good.
Yeah, but, once I found out Burns was wearing our shirt, and I'm going to keep it on those guys now because my TV's just locked in.
Okay,
my little
good idea,
workout room. But I heard Chris Doring say, Arizona's front's not bad, but they've got a guy that is my size playing defensive end at 220 pounds. So when you're talking about SEC offensive line against that, it did open things up for Marks. Interesting fact here, Will Rogers played his worst career game last year against LSU. He was sacked 4 times, completed just 57% of his passes. But this is the 80th consecutive season these two have played. The last time they didn't play? 1943.
Oh, man, World War II.
World War II.
Yeah.
Mississippi State could not field a team.
Yeah.
State's won 3 of the last 9 against LSU, though, which is impressive. And the thing that I've really liked about this changeover, Brown, Will Rogers completing 72% of his passes. No turnovers so far. They've got a running game, and Zach Arnett plays defense. We'll find out what State is this weekend.
We will. And just back to Marks real quick, it's not just that he's hitting the home run ball. He actually leads the conference in attempts. I mean, Zach Arnett is making a concerted effort to run the football far more than Mike Leach ever did, and he's being successful doing it. Can that success hold up? I don't know. I mean, by far and away, their biggest defensive test comes on Saturday.
Yep. South Carolina, Georgia, they roll this weekend in Athens. We finally get to see what number 1 Georgia looks like, Brown. I mean, they played nobody in 2 weeks, one of them not their fault. Now they're at least playing an SEC opponent that's had some big wins. I'm excited, I don't know about you, to see what Georgia looks like in a competitive situation.
I said this on the show last night. What I want to see from Georgia, whether they cover or not, whether, whatever, I don't really care about any of that. They're going to win the football game. What I want to see from Georgia, they have spent 2 weeks hearing how they've slopped around in the first half against UT Martin and Ball State. Has that impacted them? Are they 21 points in the first quarter or something like that? They come out firing on all cylinders and look like the national championship contender everybody thinks they are.
Well, everybody's talking about Georgia hasn't looked good. They haven't played anybody we really don't know. This is the first time since 1922 that the Bulldogs have won each of their first 2 games by 40-plus points. Carson Beck's got 577 yards in his first 2 games. Past 2 seasons, only 2 Georgia quarterbacks have gone 3 straight 250-yard games to start the season. Stetson Bennett, Aaron Murray, now Carson Beck. Spencer Rattler, his worst game of his career last year against Georgia, 118 yards and 2 interceptions.
Yeah, they had 306 yards of offense and only 7 points last year. More as we get to the big game in the Swamp and other SEC games, brought to you by our friends at Redmont today.
8 times distilled. It's gluten-free. Their aim, color, and taste clarity. Make sure you pick up a bottle of Redmont vodka. It's available in 22 states right now. If you can't get it, tell them. If you ask for it by name, you can't get it, tell them to get it. It's Redmont vodka.
What grade do you guys give Joe Milton through 2 weeks? Virginia, and then last week against Austin Peay.
Incomplete.
It's incomplete because I don't know what they were asking him to do against Austin Peay. My suspicion is nothing. So it is kind of an incomplete. I'll know much more Saturday.
21 of 33, 228, and 2 touchdowns last week. But we do get a full test with Florida on the road. How big of a game is it for Billy Napier?
Massive.
Yeah, massive. I heard the guys, and I'll reference them again, our friends from the SEC Network, Peter Burns and Chris Doring. Doring was like, more pressure on Josh Heupel in Tennessee and Joe Milton. And Peter Burns is like, no way, there's more pressure on Billy Napier. And I agree with Burns. Year 2, This is year 3 for Heupel, but this is a home game. This is a place you've protected for the last 20 years against this team, and this is a game you should win.
Yep, I agree completely. It would be the biggest win of his career. Right now, his biggest win is that Utah game, right?
Yep.
And because of the way they play the rest of the season, that win has been diminished. You didn't capitalize on it. So this would be the biggest win of his career. Then he would have to capitalize on it to keep it being the biggest win of his career, but easily the biggest win of his career.
He's got a great recruiting class. He needs to be around to finish, bring that recruiting class in. A win helps him do that.
Yeah, look, and I think Tennessee's defense is good this year. You know, Tennessee's defense was the problem, especially the back end last year. And you talked about Zach Arnett making that effort to run the football. Tennessee right now, 4th in the FBS, 257 yards per game.
Paul pointing out, and I guess it's true, Milton still has not thrown a pick as a Tennessee Volunteer. Now, he hasn't started for 2 years.
He is not.
Can't intercept it if you overthrow him.
Yeah.
Those are the kinds of stats that get brought up going into a game when it gets picked off 2 or 3 times.
It's going to come down to who runs the football better. The combo of Johnson and Etienne, or on the other side, Jalen Wright for Tennessee.
Real quickly, BYU at Arkansas. So far, KJ Jefferson has been checking boxes, looking good. No Rocket Sanders in that one. Georgia Tech and Ole Miss, more on that one coming up after a quick timeout here. You can play all the games, Brownie, with our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag, mybookie.ag.
And it is an incredible time to jump on with mybookie.ag right now. So coming up, we got another weekend of big-time football, and mybookie.ag has you covered. NFL and college all this weekend. Don't forget the cash-out system that gives you options to bet and win all season long. For instance, you play a 3-leg parlay. First 2 legs, 11 a.m. games hit. You get a big lunch, big dinner. You're ready to go to bed. You don't want to sweat out the rainbows of Hawaii on the Big Island. Cash out and use that money elsewhere and even get a bigger payday. The MyBookie family is ready for you to join them. They've got daily odds boost, in-game parlays, super contest, the money bag, all of that right there. And a no-strings-attached cash bonus that lets you deposit and withdraw quick. Use promo code NEXTROUND on a deposit of $50 or more, and you can receive up to $200 in cash instantly in your MyBookie account. Play it right away. You win once, you're ready to withdraw at any time. MyBookie.ag code NEXTROUND. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag code NEXTROUND.
And always a chance to fire up the grill this weekend with our friends at New York Butcher LT.
Yeah, stop and see Jim and the guys. New York Butcher Shop. Pick up the finest and certified Angus prime beef steaks, premium pork chops, ribs, all natural chicken cut to order just for you. Great selection of fine wines and dessert. New York Butcher Shop, one-stop dinner shop, rare quality, well-done service. The New York Butcher Shop.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at ScottForresterTV.
The 9 o'clock hour is brought to you by the Yellowwood 500. It's the NASCAR Playoff Series at Talladega Superspeedway on September 30th and October 1st. Get your tickets at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
If you're looking for a fun golf atmosphere that is laid back with a peaceful environment, the Meadows Golf Course in Harpersville, right off of Highway 280, is perfect for you. Just a short drive from Birmingham, this 18-hole, 200-acre track with rolling fairways and ample greens is the definition of peacefulness of the country just miles from the city. Enjoy a great lunch before your round and a cocktail on the wraparound porch after 18. Come see us today. The Meadows Golf Course in Harpersville, right off of Highway 280.
You have all heard of Red Wing Shoes, but what is Red Wing Shoes? It's the place where men buy boots, plain and simple. Who are Red Wing's customers? They are construction workers, warehouse employees, college students, the guy that fixes your AC, the guy at the end of the bar, the IT guy. Red Wing is a father, Red Wing is a son, Red Wing is a cult following shared by all men. A classic, comfortable pair of cool boots with a story to tell. What's your Red Wing story? Red Wing Shoe Stores, located in Pelham and Trussville. The next round is brought to you in part by the biggest, baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and always puts on a great show for the fans. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming and you do not want to miss it. Saturday, September 30th is the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, followed by Sunday's Yellowwood 500 in the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs. Be there to see drivers battle 500 miles to survive. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
The Next Round store is live and loaded. Check out the latest logo t-shirts and hoodies. Get your favorite team colors, the Next Round flag shirt, or grab the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest t-shirts. Go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Our Maestro Dobel Diamante sound of the day from Hugh Freeze as they get ready to take on Samford down at Jordan-Hare Stadium, and then SEC play follows that. Here's the Auburn head coach, brought to you by our friends at Maestro Dobel Diamante Tequila.
We did everything that we didn't do in the first game. We didn't have turnovers. We didn't have penalties. And dang, if we didn't look like it was the first game offensively. And so I did not take it over. I did call the fade to Rivaldo and a couple other things. But, no, it's not at that point at all. I have great confidence in them. We've had a lot of tough talks this morning. I mean, it was ugly. There's no two ways around it, but you also have to take into account the number of turnovers and penalties for possessions versus was it just awful play calls. I didn't see many awful play calls, truthfully. They all have a chance to work. Nothing schematically was off about it. I think we need a little more balance, and we got to figure out what that looks like exactly that our quarterbacks and receivers can handle. And our RPO world, we didn't utilize near enough. We've got to work on that. So we'll challenge each other to be better this week as coaches and players.
Those Balkan region, Eastern Europe barrels there, they provide you the Maestro Dobel Diamante Tequila. Pleasant contrast, crystal clear tequila. It is wonderful. Maestro Dobel Diamante Tequila.
I like Freeze sneaking in the fact that he called the touchdown play.
Yeah, I did too.
I didn't call a ton of plays. I did call the fade to Rivaldo there, the game-winning touchdown.
By the way, I would get Rivaldo much more involved. I mean, he looks like a guy that can be a playmaker. I feel confident Jay Fair is going to be a solid receiver. Jarquez back. You got to take all the pressure away from these quarterbacks.
You do, but you got to get more out of Jarquez Hunter. That was a bad performance by him. I just
wonder how many reps he's had. You know,
not a ton. I mean, I know he's going to be a little bit rusty.
Hugh Freeze saying last night on his coach's show that Jarquez left a ton of yards out on the field.
Well, there's no doubt he did. And he fumbled. There had to be a little bit of rust for Jarquez.
And he added that they're going to scale back tremendously the quarterback rotation, not run them in and out as so much. So you could go back to red zone Robbie and Peyton Thorne until you get to the red zone. A little bit more of that. You saw Robbie all over the field last week, and not a lot of great success.
I just wonder what kind of hands Robbie's got.
You want to play him at receiver?
Put him at the slot. I don't know. I mean, you get that guy in space, he's dangerous.
Because they need some playmakers.
They
on
do.
The edge.
Yeah,
absolutely. Alabama down at USF. You heard from Nick Saban earlier.
You think there's going to be a quarterback change
at Alabama? Mm-hmm. You guys talked about it last night. Let's jump into it right now. Go ahead. What do you think?
The closer we get, the more I think you're going to see Buckner start this game. I mean, that is all the smoke out of Tuscaloosa right now.
Yeah, I feel good about saying Buckner. Buckner will start this game.
I mean, that is all the smoke out of Tuscaloosa. I am not reporting that he is. I don't think you are either, Lance, are you?
I'm not reporting it.
I'm just saying I feel that way.
Yeah, I would have been surprised if Buckner would have started on Monday. Now I'm going to be surprised if Buckner doesn't start.
Yeah, you've completely turned it around.
Yeah,
I mean, that's all the smoke out of Tuscaloosa over the last couple of days is that Tyler Buckner starts this game for Alabama.
And guess what, Dunaway? It doesn't matter. We talked about this last night. I don't know what your opinion is.
Forward.
Yeah, I mean, if Buckner comes in, he plays okay, Milroe plays okay, then who's your quarterback against Ole Miss? I don't know what you've solved.
Yep. Well, he's got to come in and play better, and then you've solved a lot, right?
But don't you expect either one of these guys to play really good against South Florida?
They do, but, I mean, you just cannot evaluate Buckner. I don't think you can give Buckner a good evaluation without starting him. I just really don't. I think if Alabama's coaches, if Tommy Rees and Nick Saban are of of the belief that they want to get a good look at Tyler Buchner and evaluate whether or not he can win games for you. I love Tyler Buchner.
So Brown's point was going to be
why he catches, he gets his drink some water too. I'll tell you, you've heard them say 6, 7, 8 times already. I said this last night. That's our Bud Light Game Night show. It's still up on all of our platforms. You can go back and watch that in its entirety, an in-depth look at the upcoming weekend. You get it every Thursday night. It's brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. We'll be out next Thursday night at the Grocery Brew Pub there in Homewood. So when we were talking on Fridays about what they said last night, that's what they're referencing there. And when they jumped into this situation, Brown continue.
Yeah, I mean, I just think if you're evaluating Buchner with it in mind, can this guy start for me the rest of the season? If that's what you really want to see, does this guy have it in him to start against legitimate SEC teams that we're about to play if you're Alabama? If you're Alabama, you're about to play 4 straight conference games after this. And if you really want to evaluate that, I don't know that you could do it without starting him. I don't know that you can give him a good, fair look and evaluation without starting him and letting him play. I agree with you, Lance. It doesn't matter. They could start Lonergan and they're going to win the game. But at least start him when the score is 0-0, and the game is as much in doubt as it's ever going to be.
Yeah, I expect Buchner to start. I expect him to play well. Again, you're a 32.5-point favorite. This is the first time, I think, since Nick Saban's first year that I can say this. Alabama has 7 straight losable games after this game.
Wow.
They have 7 straight losable games. Now, they've got 7 straight winnable games,
Well,
7 straight games they should win, but Ole Miss, that's a losable game, right?
Any game in the SEC is losable,
Yeah, I mean, and then you go to Starkville, then you go to College Station, you got Arkansas, Tennessee, LSU, at Kentucky. It gets real. You got to figure out who that guy is.
And I just don't think you can properly Dunaway evaluate that without starting him. I don't know how you evaluate, can this guy start for us in conference play without giving him a start?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of evaluation obviously goes on in practice, right? When the coaches are out there and you got ones-on-ones and you're evaluating against the Alabama defense. There's a lot you can do there.
Yeah, but nothing compares to game action.
And you guys are saying you think this, but you keep saying you're not reporting this, so you feel like Buchner's going to start.
Well, I'm just saying that so nobody's like the next round reporting Buchner start. We're not reporting that. I'm just saying it is.
But I see people in the chat room saying that they would bet anything that Buchner doesn't start. I, on the other hand, would bet a lot that Buchner will start.
Oh, you feel that strongly about it. You know, the problem with that is he could wake up with a stomach virus. That's why you would never bet on something like that.
I would bet on it. And if you woke up with a stomach virus, I've lost worse ways.
But, I mean...
You blame it on me.
Would I? Well, do you think Buchner's going to start?
Yeah, you've been silent on this. Where do you fall?
Well, I have no sourcing.
Oh, I know. You're just asking for a gut.
So you and Saban didn't go out for cocktails after the...
We did not. We did not.
And you didn't ask him in a break who's starting?
I did not. Not on the record for sure. I did not. I have no opinion on who's starting this. I know. I don't think what was played at quarterback last week works through that 7-game stretch you're talking about. So I would say I'm open for a change, but I think it would be out of character to see Jalen Milroe start. But I expect to see multiple quarterbacks in this game. But I don't have the sourcing you guys have.
What do you guys think that Alabama fans want? That's what's interesting. Like, I can't get a straight answer out of an Alabama fan.
I think they want to see Buchner or Simpson or somebody, just to see them.
I also would tell you I lived through a time when Alabama fans wanted Mike Dubose to replace Gene Stallings, and so much so they were forcing Gene Stallings out of town. And I also lived through a time where an athletic director wanted to switch soda pours, and he did that at Bryant-Denny Stadium. That wasn't successful. So what people want is always not the best thing.
Yeah, I think if Phil Fulmer would have hung out a little longer in Knoxville, things would have been better, right?
Well, I think
they got into a bad spin cycle, as did Florida for a little bit.
Well, I think a lot of Alabama fans wanted to see Tua Tagovailoa, and they were right about that one. So you can't act like the fans are always wrong.
I'm not saying they're always wrong, but there seem to be. I would tell you, the public seems to be wrong more than they're right. Right?
They are. But if Lonergan was starting tomorrow, I would be all in on watching this game.
Oh, I would too.
And the truth of the matter is, I don't know why the guy's not playing if he's your best quarterback. Because Dante Moore, watch UCLA play, and you'll probably watch them next weekend when they play Utah to be undefeated. But Dante Moore is a true freshman, is legitimate. And these guys are ready to play now.
But we got to get a couple more of these guys in
do
here
this.
real quick.
Do this.
Our friends at Wayne's, for the past 50 years, Wayne's Pest Control has been serving our communities by doing the things they love, providing world-class pest control and termite protection to those that they care about the most, and that's you, the customer. It's been that way for 50 years. They just want to say thank you, so they're giving you $50 off the pest control and the termite protection when you go to callwaynes.com. Callwaynes.com, get $50 off pest control, termite protection. While you're there, always tell them you heard about it from the next round. The next round, TNR is our short code. Whatever you need there, callwaynes.com.
And a lot of people are like, boy, you run the risk of crushing Jalen Milroe, and he loses his confidence if you don't start him, and that's the gamble there. But I would say to that, if he doesn't start Saturday and that's his reaction, it was going to happen. One bad outing was going to cause that, right? You see what I'm saying? I mean, that was going to be a problem down the road anyway. You're just now getting to the problem earlier.
Yeah, I've never understood the quarterback mentality that he cannot be substituted for or switched out. It happens at every other position.
That's right. And
if we take out the center because he can't snap it to the damn quarterback, is that hurting his confidence? Maybe, but maybe he's not snapping it to the quarterback. Maybe he's rolling it back there because he doesn't have the right confidence to play the position.
And hey, by the way, that was part of, not wholly blaming the center, but that was part of the struggles Milroe had Saturday night.
Yeah.
So it's not all on Milroe. But I'm just saying, if your concern is, well, boy, if you start Tyler Buckner, Jalen Milroe is going to lose all his confidence. He's going to get in a bad place. I'm fearful of that. Hey, listen, if one game of him not starting was going to get him there, he was going to get there at some point this season anyway. You've just exposed it. I personally don't think that about Milroe. He doesn't strike me as that type.
Well, if losing a home game to Texas on national television, the biggest, that probably hurts your confidence a little bit too. Right.
Yeah.
But I would tell you this. You said Lonergan is the best quarterback. Why are you not playing him?
No, I'm saying if he is, why would you not play?
Well, you would. If he's the best quarterback, you would play him.
But you didn't play Tua.
Yeah, I think sometimes Nick Saban he's loyal to his guys. He is loyal to his guys.
But you didn't see Lonergan at all, right?
Yeah, no, I have no idea. This is just what people behind the scenes are saying. Do you guys, real quick, believe in FPI at all?
FPI?
Yeah, I do not.
Okay, the Football Power Index. The only reason I say this
from
is
ESPN, with Alabama number one after the loss to Texas makes no sense.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, they're still number one.
No, I don't believe it.
I think they actually rose to number one, did they?
They were number one.
They were number one already.
Where do they have Texas? I don't need to know that.
They've got Ohio State too.
Yeah, I think I saw Texas beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa, but it could have been a fever dream.
There is a phrase called paralysis by analysis. We'll talk to Todd Furman about the point spreads on the big games coming up. Don't forget Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3 at nextroundlive.com. Nextroundlive.com. Our friends at Bromberg's for any gift-giving occasion throughout the year.
Since 1836, family-owned and operated, they are your diamond specialist. If you think about popping the question, these are the guys you need to go see. Nothing like giving or getting that silver box from our friends at Bromberg's. 2 locations, Mount Brigham and the Summit. You can shop online right now. Go to brombergs.com.
And also our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. That's Greg from Pell City. Man, he's fired up for the football weekend, but also Greg from Pell City's fired up to get on your roof. He'll do it on a Friday. He'll do it on a Monday, a Tuesday, a Thursday, a Wednesday. You get them in the right order with Greg from Pell City. 205-542-3531. 542-3531 for that free no-cost roof inspection. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. Insurance companies trust him. You should, too. Locally owned, he and his wife run the company. You can look him up on Facebook, too. Greg from Pell City. It is Storm Restoration Roofing. Furman from the desert next.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
It's college football time in Alabama. This is Congressman Robert Adderholt. I grew up an Alabama fan, Roll Tide, but my wife, Caroline, grew up an Auburn fan, War Eagle. But no matter who you pull for, whether it's the Lions of the University of North Alabama or the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State or any other school in between, I want to wish all the players, the coaches, and especially the fans another great college football season here in Alabama. I'm Robert Adderholt, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Adderholt for Congress.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemphill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemphill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemphill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemphill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090. hemphillservices.com.
Start your day online at nextroundlive.com. Get all the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. And it's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Football season is here, and Legacy Credit Card is just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. Credit cards offer better consumer protection against fraud when compared to a debit card, which is linked directly to your bank account. Legacy offers rates as low as 8.9% APR on credit cards compared to major card providers who advertise rates as high as 29% APR. Look no further than Legacy. Open a credit card online in minutes at legacycreditunion.com/join.
APR's annual percentage rate, rates, and offers subject to change. See website for details. Federally insured by NCUA.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and our entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Todd Furman standing by. One of my favorite bets when I'm in the desert in Las Vegas is on the weekly NASCAR race. They're coming back to Talladega pretty soon. NASCAR playoff weekend is coming to the Talladega Superspeedway. You can get tickets at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. September 30th, it's a truck race. And then that night, you get to see Hardy in concert. I've always thought Furman and Hardy were like the same people. I never see them in the same place. I wonder if Furman can cover a Hardy song for us when he comes on. That'd be really good. You can see the real Hardy in person, though, Saturday night after the truck race. And then the Yellowwood 500, the Cup race on Sunday, October the 1st, both playoff races. Your ticket gets you all of that, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
BetTheBoardPodcast.com, BetTheBoardPodcast.com. They are not under a ransomware deal. Nobody's holding Todd Furman for ransom before he releases BetTheBoardPodcast.com. He might be the only thing in Vegas, though. He is with us now on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. What is up, Furman? How are you?
I'm doing well, but just because I'm not being held under ransom doesn't mean all of my personal information after having played in those casinos for all those years isn't circulating somewhere on the dark web, and Lord only knows what foreign country I'll get detained in next when I decide to travel internationally.
Hey, I mean, how crazy was that? You know, because I read that this has happened to the MGM before. They paid a $4 million ransom, and at least that was the number they settled on. Did they finally settle? And if so, do you have any idea what that number was?
I don't know a number, and it's such an interesting story for all the wrong reasons. I actually talked to some guys that worked in, IT security for some of the casinos and some of the higher-end tech firms that are out there. And they say these things, unfortunately, can happen a lot more frequently than ever make it to the public. All it takes is the wrong employee in the wrong spot loading something onto a USB drive in customer service, and all hell breaks loose. So Lord only knows if this is just going to be the tip of the iceberg for some of these things going forward, but not exactly a great look for these multi-billion-dollar corporations and publicly traded companies that can't protect the sensitive data around all of their players. And the other thing that I don't think was publicized nearly enough is there were legitimate concerns that the rooms weren't exactly going to be safe because everything that works on a computer key card, so they've started to station some security guards on various floors. But when you're not feeling comfortable going back to your room after a long night of drinking at 2 a.m., not exactly great for business on the Las Vegas Strip.
All right, let's start here, Furman. Todd Furman on Twitter. At Todd Furman on Twitter is where you follow him. He's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. We were just talking about it before you came on. There's a lot of smoke out of Tuscaloosa that Tyler Buckner might get the start Saturday against South Florida. I don't imagine it would change the line much in this yawner of a matchup. But I do know that you guys at Vegas often get tipped off on things that maybe the general public doesn't hear. Is there any smoke in Vegas about Alabama potentially changing starting quarterbacks?
You know, quite frankly, guys, given that I won't make a single adjustment based on a change in quarterback there to my power numbers for Alabama, I haven't really dug into it. What I can tell you, though, is there's been an appetite for Alabama's first half total to go over, and I think that has as much to do with South Florida and their inability to slow down anybody defensively. This is an interesting move, though, because when you look at Tyler Buckner, we've seen him on tape. We know he's a little bit limited as a passer. I don't think he provides nearly that level of physicality in the ground game either. So it would be a very perplexing move because, in my opinion, it doesn't raise the ceiling of what this Alabama offense would be. I think if you're looking at it, either Jalen Milroe becomes your answer and you work with his pocket progression, or you go to a player like Ty Simpson instead. So it would be a little bit surprising from a football standpoint. But look, they brought Tommy Rees in for a reason. They made a move to bring in Buckner to help solidify the quarterback room. But I'd have to think as Alabama watches Miami week in, week out, they wish they were able to pony up the cash to bring in a quarterback like Tyler Van Dyke to win a national title.
Furman, as we know, the best team does not always win. And when you look at Saturday in Columbia, Kansas State completely destroyed Missouri last year. They open as a 1.5-point favorite. I know Kansas State's a better team, but this number is only 3.5. This is a rotten number.
This has been a true battle, and it's one of the biggest battles that we're seeing on the betting board so far this week. Number did open a little bit higher, LT. We were out at 5. You saw the price come all the way down to 3.5, and it's been a struggle. Every time the number gets to 3.5, there's a very prominent group that looks to lay it. Every time the number gets back to 4.5, there's another group that's taking the price. I think when you look at Missouri, the big question is what have they been holding back through their first 2 games of the season? Because anyone who watched that game against Middle Tennessee State wasn't going to be blown away by any stretch of the imagination, and we've lived through this Brady Cook experience before. He just doesn't throw the ball downfield, not going to have a powerful arm, and when you look at the move they made at offensive coordinator to bring in Kirby from Fresno State, even Jay Kaner, who was drafted by the New Orleans Saints last year, never really pushed the ball downfield. So if Kansas State's able to at least scheme Luther Burden out of what Missouri wants to do offensively, do they have a secondary pitch? I'm more in line with this total getting bet down a touch. I think if Missouri is ultimately going to be the side, it's because they have to lean on their defense, and they're able to keep Will Howard and company in check.
I know you always look forward to my favorite play of the weekend, so here it goes. Under Minnesota, North Carolina. Last I saw it was 50.5. Even though North Carolina and Drake May can put up points, I like this one going under. What do you think of that game?
Either you're evolving as a handicapper or this game is going to have 80 points scored in it because you going under, Dunaway, is a little bit of a fear factor here. What's interesting when you dig into what we've seen over the years from North Carolina, they haven't had a whole lot of games that were priced with a total this low. And so it'll be interesting to see which team dictates tempo. Minnesota obviously wants to play a little bit of keep away. They may have had their starting running back emerge last week in a workmanlike effort against Eastern Michigan. Whereas when you look at North Carolina, they're going to have to adjust under Chip Lindsey's leadership because what teams are doing right now is very similar to what we saw in the NFL. They're playing 2 safeties real deep, forcing Drake May and company to dink and dunk their way down the field. And when you can't pick some of those chunk yardage plays with second-rate skill position guys like North Carolina has, it's a little bit problematic. So I have no argument to make on this particular total, especially as the number continues to leak up into the low 50s.
I would tell you this, truthfully, I wrote down all my plays on Thursday night last night and decided to play totally opposite of that this weekend. That's my system.
Hey, look, if it worked for George Costanza when he walked in a Monk's coffee shop, it can work for you at the betting window as well.
Because I looked at it, I said, 50.5, North Carolina may score 50 on their own. And I said, oh, Jim, go opposite. Go opposite.
There we go. He's evolving, Furman. We've seen him before our eyes here. Todd Furman with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. LSU is at Mississippi State. They are giving Mississippi State about 9.5, depending on where you look, Furman, for this. The last time we saw LSU in a meaningful game, they did not look good, and Mississippi State has completely flipped the way they're playing offensive football. They're now a run-heavy team. What do you see happening in this game?
They have, and I'm very curious to see if Mississippi State continues along that run-heavy type approach, because if they do here, I think LSU can dominate in the trenches, and it won't exactly be a pretty recipe for Mississippi State to keep this game competitive. You mentioned LSU, and of course, 2.5 quarters they were competitive against Florida State before the Seminoles ran away and hid, but LSU was able to get things going offensively, albeit against an inferior opponent in Grambling. But the 72 points they scored last week was tied for the third most in program history and the most since 1977 if you back out that 7 overtime game they played against A&M back in 2018. LSU's biggest weakness this year is going to be in their defensive backfield. We saw Denver Harris get more reps. Not sure if he's grasped the entire defensive playbook yet. And it was Florida State's bigger, more physical wide receivers that all go 6'4" or larger that were able to take care of smaller DBs. Well, Mississippi State doesn't exactly have those kind of players on the outside. So you'd have to think Duke Chestnut and company will have a little bit more success. An early kickoff in Starkville probably works a lot more favorably for the road team. And while I don't advocate often for laying points on the road, I don't think this Mississippi State team is that good this year. And I really believe LSU wins this game by 2 touchdowns plus.
Furman, you can't always play against the public, and Cal McCord does not look good. Austin Reed might be the better quarterback in that game, but this feels like a spot where Ohio State, it comes together against this Hilltopper defense and minus 29.5. Any thoughts?
You'd have to hope it did, because if it doesn't this week against Western Kentucky, things won't get much easier next week when they travel to South Bend and Kyle McCord gets his first true test as the Buckeye signal caller. You look at Ohio State, and this is a team that has the skill position players on the outside, but the biggest question mark I had for them coming into the year was along the offensive line. Fortunately for them, I don't think Western Kentucky can really challenge that metal. And when I look on the other side of the ball, I think Ohio State can clamp down on Western. The scariest part, though, that you mentioned, Lance, is talking about a Western team that does have some firepower. So even if Ohio State builds a 5-touchdown lead, do you worry about that back door being open? I think it's important for the Buckeyes to get off to a quick start. So if you were looking at Ohio State, I'd be much more inclined to back them in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, I'm really interested in a couple of Sun Belt games. James Madison and Troy will be entertaining football, albeit on the NFL Network. And then South Alabama at Oklahoma State. 2 fun games this weekend, huh?
Yeah, for sure. And when you look at the Troy JMU game, look, Troy had their hands full last week against Kansas State. But I don't think that was an indictment of where the Trojans are 1 year removed from their Sun Belt championship. Defense clearly not going to be as good this year as what we saw last year. And we'll see exactly how big the absence of Sheil Wood as defensive coordinator looks as the season progresses. But one thing that we saw from Troy is the emergence of Chris Lewis on the outside. And I think he's going to be a bona fide star if they're able to get him the ball in space. Gunnar Watson's numbers don't blow you away, at least through the first 2 weeks, and we'll see if Vidal can get going on the ground. But my bigger takeaway was with JMU. I mean, they had a long delay in the weather in Charlottesville, an emotional comeback in that spot, and JMU just looks slow on the back end. So if Troy's able to get things going in the vertical passing game, I think they'll get JMU in the right spot off an emotional win against an in-state program. I like the home team here laying that short number. And you mentioned the South Alabama-Oklahoma State game. Look, South Alabama has some major issues that they're going to have to figure out in their defensive backfield. Fortunately for them, I'm not sure Oklahoma State has a quarterback that's capable of taking advantage of them. We're not exactly sure what the Pokes will do with their quarterback rotation, but signs point to Gunnar Gundy kind of moving ahead of the field, given his legs and the way he can stretch opposing defenses in terms of Oklahoma State's offensive line shortcomings. If this number gets back to 7.5, South Alabama, makes a lot of sense as a value proposition. See if Carter Bradley and company are able to move the football against Oklahoma State.
Todd Furman has given us 2 bold predictions in his first 2 visits with us during the football season. Both of them have hit. We'll see if we can coax another one out of him in a moment. Before we do that, Furman, he is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. I think this is a tough spot for Tennessee. I'm basing some of it on the fact that they've only won twice there since 1972, and they go there every other year now. Tennessee at Florida. The Gators have shown absolutely nothing. What do you see in this game?
You go back to the mid-'70s and look at this rivalry that's gone on in the SEC East. Tennessee has never been this heavy a favorite going into Gainesville. So a little bit of uncharted territory, a giant target on their back, and obviously the pressure getting ratcheted up on Billy Napier. To get that first win against the rival, when you look at how they performed last year, 0-4 if we throw LSU into that mix. Florida was a little bit better than I thought in their season opener against Utah. I know what the final score said, but defensively they held up against a backup quarterback. Offensively, you wonder if the Gators can do enough to run the football in this particular spot, keep Tennessee out of rhythm. And when you dig into how Tennessee has performed, they were erratic at best despite that 49-point outburst against Virginia in the first game, and they struggled a little bit in the red zone against Austin Peay. Look, Joe Milton may have all the physical attributes. He may be able to throw it a country mile, but from what I've seen thus far, doesn't have command of the offense the same way Hendon Hooker did. But he also isn't surrounded by the same weapons. I think Ramel Keaton and Brew McCoy on the outside are a significant step down from Jalen Hyatt and Cedric Tillman. And it's a team that, in my opinion, needs to run the ball a little bit more effectively. When you look at the offensive line for Tennessee, we'll see if Cooper Mays goes. I expect him to be out there. If he's not, it creates a little bit of a communication impasse, in my opinion. 6.5, not enough to get involved. At 7, I can understand why you'd want to play the dog. But I'm more interested in the total at 58.5. I actually think this game comes in under and wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about a game played somewhere in the ballpark of 24-20-ish.
Furman using country mile very well there, like that. A couple more plays for Furman, including his bold prediction. But let me remind you, Alabama Power is going to help you save money right now, especially during peak time. With Alabama Power's time advantage rate, you can sign up right now. Call Alabama Power 1-800-257-APCO, that's APCO, or go to alabamapower.com/time advantage, or you can visit them in person at an office near you. Our friends at Alabama Power. LT?
Furman, I faded Colorado like an idiot last week. I thought Nebraska defensively did everything they could in the first half, and that offense is atrocious. But this week, I didn't understand why Dion and his team were taking everything so personal, but now Jay Norvell gives them a reason to actually come after him. This number's 23.5. Can you still get a little value with Colorado?
It's incredible when you look at these things that opposing head coaches are doing. They're just throwing gasoline on the fire and giving Colorado a reason to be razor-focused in these kind of spots. No reason to poke the bear there, figuring that Colorado could get caught looking past Colorado State towards 2 massive showdowns coming up next week, or one next week against Oregon and the following week against USC. Look, I didn't step in front of the Colorado freight train last week, but this week the number's a little bit bigger. At 23.5, I'm not there yet. We'll see if this number drives up even further, but I'm fully cognizant of the fact that if I back Colorado State, this game will be 21-0 at the end of the first quarter, and knowing that I've seen enough of this Rams offense since Jay Norvell took over that it's a little tough. But buyer beware with Colorado. I think the market's really starting to catch up, but this may not be the proper speed bump to try and step in front of the Buffaloes and what they're doing to their opposition right now.
Week 1 of the season, Furman ended the interview by saying, guys, before I go, don't be surprised if Florida State wins by 2 scores over LSU. And we were like, whoa, Furman. Dunaway, what happened in that game?
Florida State covered by 2 touchdowns.
Last week, at the end of the interview, without even being asked, Furman said, hey, Dunaway, before I go, don't be surprised when your Bucks go in and win in Minnesota. Dunaway, did you watch that game Sunday, Jim?
I did.
Who won?
Bucks in Minnesota.
So I didn't know. I don't know if Furman knew he was starting a thing, but now we want it every week, Furman. Once you get 2 right, we want it every week now, so give us a bold prediction.
So this week, a little bit tougher to try and do some big game hunting, but I'll actually go to a game that we didn't talk about at all in the SEC. And when I look at Ole Miss, it's a team last week that needed a late push to separate from Tulane. They have Alabama on deck, and I think this is a Georgia Tech team that's trending in the right direction. Haynes King, no stranger to SEC competition, and they were a lot better than how they performed down the stretch against Louisville. If that game is close late, I will not be shocked at all if Georgia Tech has the ball with a chance to potentially tie the game in the fourth quarter. I think they stay inside that number quite comfortably and wouldn't be shocked if Georgia Tech loses that game by a touchdown or less.
Whoa!
Furman just went closer than the odds makers think.
He's Georgia a Haynes King fan.
Yes, who's not?
Closer than Furman thinks, apparently.
Close. Who's not a Haynes King fan? All right, Georgia Tech Ole Miss, the game to watch, 6:30 SEC Network from Furman. Furman, enjoy the weekend, man. As always, we appreciate the time.
Always a pleasure, gentlemen. Enjoy the games this weekend, and it's rare when all 3 of you get to come in on Monday with your NFL teams 8 perfect, unblemished 1-0. May not quite be the same this weekend if all the teams don't go and take care of their business on Sunday as well.
I think Furman's pointing at my Dolphins. You know what this smacks of? Bill Belichick, like we are doing the exact opposite of what the Chargers did, and Tua throws for like 177 and 2 picks.
And also the fact that Baker Mayfield sucks and
And the
LT's
Rams are playing the 49ers.
Yeah, I think Furman knows what he's doing here. Thank you for the warning there, Furman. Take care, buddy. Have a good weekend.
You got it, boys. Be good.
All right, Furman with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
Brought to you in part by our friend Dr. B, LT.
Yeah, Dr. B. Again, when I started to thin out about a year and a half ago, the name everyone said Dr. Beckenstein. T3hair.net for more information. Again, I do the non-invasive treatment, 30 minutes each, 3 times a week. That's all I'm doing right now. The hair has more than doubled in thickness. Make the phone call that I made, 205-319-0316. Dr. B offering that Sensus transdermal infuser. This enables Dr. B to get various medicines and therapies into the scalp where the hair follicles are without using any injections. This is revolutionary, as Dr. B can pinpoint delivery of a patient's genetically specific products without any needles. Again, call 205-319-0316 or T3hair.net.
A viewing menu right here from Rockstar, brought to you by our friends at New Life. LT will tell us about New Life in just a second. What do you have, Rocky?
There's something coming on Netflix that people praise about. I've never seen. I want to see it. I just never saw it. But Netflix, for some reason, written by HBO. But Band of Brothers is now on Netflix.
You've never seen that?
No, and so is The Pacific. I think The Pacific is on there as well.
I did not like The Pacific as much, but I've always been more fascinated by the European theater than the Pacific theater in World War II.
I thought the Pacific was great, though. I thought both were fantastic.
I liked it. I just didn't think it was as good. I think Band of Brothers, like, you know how much I love Saving Private Ryan.
I do.
But I think Band of Brothers is the definitive production on the European theater of World War II. I don't think anybody has done it better. Maybe even the definitive war production, period, end of sentence, of any theatrical release. I think Band of Brothers does it better than anybody.
That's a bold statement.
I believe it, though, and I've watched a lot of war movies. That's my thing, is World War II movies. I love them.
And in theaters tonight, a new Hercule Poirot movie with Kenneth Branagh, Haunting in Venice. This one features a serious role from Tina Fey. And your girl's Kelly Riley is in it. Anybody know who Kelly Riley is?
Nope.
Kelly Riley is Norm Riley's cousin.
No, Kelly Riley is Beth Dutton, right?
Beth Dutton from Yellowstone. So you think she's going to be a nice woman in this one?
No, she'll be a villain.
Yeah, she needs to be a villain. That movie looks terrible. I don't know what critics are saying about it.
Critics are saying it's okay. I think it's the third one that they've done this Hercule Poirot thing for Kenneth Branagh.
We call it Hercule Poirot.
Poirot. And then I don't know why Lunsford didn't in here, but they're re-releasing Dark Knight in the theaters.
All right.
I don't know why.
Why not?
Yeah, just money.
Why not?
I guess.
Make some money. That's what Rockstar's watching tonight, brought to you by our friends at New Life Art.
Writer's strike, by the way. Daniel Moore, that masterwork in oils legacy continues. The sequel to Moore's 1992 sold-out painting, The Crimson Legacy, features iconic moments and memorabilia from the last 30 seasons of Tide football. Don't miss your opportunity to own this lasting tribute, sure to be cherished by Bama fans for years to come. Order right now, DanielMooreArt.com.
Speaking of Alabama football, you want to talk more about the Bama quarterbacks now or after the break? You want to do it now?
Either way, I think I've got some clarification on something that is being attributed to a reporter. Would you like to do that now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Go ahead.
John Talty covers Alabama for 24/7 Sports now. John was very well-respected reporter is a very well-respected reporter, was with AL.com, now with 24/7. It is being reported by CBS that he said Tyler Buchner is expected to start. What John said is behind a paywall at 24/7 Sports, so I'm not going to give you that, but I am going to say I texted John, and he says, I am not reporting that. CBS took me way, way out of context. So
Isn't 24/7 and CBS together?
yeah, kind of part of the problem, I guess, there. But a lot of people in the chat room were saying, hey, CBS is reporting that. So I went to the CBS article, and CBS says John is reporting that. So I texted John. He goes, I am not reporting that.
Right.
All right. So the report was from CBS that Tyler Buchner is expected to start, as is being reported by John Talty of 24/7 Sports. John tells me, and again, it's behind a paywall, it's for their subscribers, that has taken me way, way out of context. So I didn't want to clear that up for John.
Yeah, well, it's no longer the main picture on CBS, but it still is over here to the right.
Yeah.
Written by Will Backus. 8 minutes ago, it's been updated. It's a 2-minute read, but I'll give you the headline. Buchner at quarterback now, ? expectations Notre Dame transfer replaces Jalen Milroe for USF.
Yeah, there are expectations he will. That doesn't mean that there are expectations by important people. And it was credited in that article to John. And again, I texted John. John says that is not what I'm reporting.
And that is journalism in 2023. When we come back, we will get 4 downs from LT. Hydro Live is a company LT introduced to me years ago.
Great company, too. So whether you're heading to Tuscaloosa for a big game or right here in Birmingham, membership benefits travel with the member. New locations located at the corner of 119 and Douglas Baker Boulevard, right there in Greystone. One in Homewood. They're open 7 days a week. IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, all under one roof. Can't make it to Hydro Live? Not a big deal. Nurse can actually come to you. Follow on Facebook and Instagram at Hydro Life Therapy. And for more information on their great products, hydrolifetherapy.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items, and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, Brombergs.com.
Do you need extra cash handy? Look no further than Legacy Credit Union for whatever loan your lifestyle requires. It only takes a few minutes to apply and request the amount you need to give you peace of mind. With affordable low rates and manageable payback plans, a Legacy Lifestyle loan is crafted just for you. Apply online today at LegacyCreditUnion.com/join. Lifestyle loans from Legacy. Terms and conditions may apply. Legacy is federally insured by the NCUA.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast like Bama and Bourbon, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family, all at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
The Next Round brought to you by the biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, the Talladega Superspeedway. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming up. You don't want to miss it. The action kicks off Saturday, September 30th with the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, all leading up to the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs on Sunday, October the 1st. Be there to see these drivers battle for 500 miles to survive and advance to the next round of the playoffs. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Again, that is TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest. The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes in Cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. A $247 value for just $89. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
Back with you on the Next Round as we continue on. LT's got 4 downs in a second. We were just talking about wagers that the public is betting on. One thing is 91% of the public money is on Colorado to cover against Colorado State this weekend. Before LT tells us about Woodhouse, Rockstar, will you give me 7 and 8? It was part of the conversation yesterday. Jay Norvell is cut 7, but just for those that may have missed it, we'll give you a little slice of that from yesterday. Remember, this is one adult who is 4 years older than Deion Sanders, basically talking to him like he's a child. Here's Jay Norvell.
sat down with ESPN today, and I don't care if they hear it in Boulder. I told them I took my hat off and I took my glasses off, and I said, when I talk to grown-ups, I take my hat and my glasses off. That's what my mother taught me. So
that's what my mother taught me.
Three people clap.
I know.
Yeah.
All their fans.
Well Off Media, which is Dion's production crew, they're around everything, including practice yesterday, where Dion, of course, had heard about what Jay Norvell said. Here is Inside Colorado's Practice, courtesy of Colorado's Practice.
I'm minding my own business, watching some film, trying to get ready, trying to get out here and be the best coach I could be. And I look up and I read some bull junk that Dan said about us.
Talk to us.
Once again,
talk to us.
Why would you want to talk about us when we don't talk about nobody? All we do is go out here, work our butts off, and do our job on Saturday. But when they give us ammunition, they done messed around and made it what? It was just going to be a good game.
And made this shit personal.
They done messed around and made it personal. It was going to be a great test, a battle of Colorado, but they done messed around and made it personal.
Yeah, they made it personal
Man's
again
got a
this
golden
week.
whistle.
91% of the public's money is on Colorado to cover Colorado by 1 million.
It didn't matter last week. By the way, that gold whistle, I guarantee you, will not turn green in the shower.
Yeah.
That is legitimate, probably 24 karat.
Is that like when Beyonce has diamonds on her microphone and the specialty microphones that a lot of artists have?
She's not going to fake stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
No way.
Dion, the cheapest thing he's got on is probably those Oakleys, who he's got to deal with. By the way,
it's probably that sweatshirt.
Ain't cheap for Oakley.
Yeah. Look, this number's massive. It should be. Now there's a reason to watch. Like, I was going to watch anyway because there's not a huge, great window late night, 9 o'clock ESPN. But now they are going to put the pedal down. Now, whether or not they cover, I don't know. I sure as hell wouldn't play Colorado State.
Yes.
I'm saving up for next week when they go into Eugene.
Other side of this, though, is I love people yesterday sharing all the photos of Jay Norvell doing his news conferences wearing a visor. Like, I mean, the guy's being a complete fraud about this. Nobody alive believes every time he talks to an adult, he takes off his hat and his sunglasses. It was a ridiculous, grandstanding thing he did. And I was going to watch this game either way, but I am all in now.
Woodhouse Day Spa bringing you our coverage today as we get ready for a college football weekend.
Treat that special someone to the gift of luxury from Birmingham's best day spa, the Woodhouse Day Spa, located at the Summit Shopping Centers. You got a wife or girlfriend you want to watch football all day? Send them there. They've got a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. You can order online, birmingham.woodhousespas.com, or just stop in, see Casey and Stuart, the fine folks at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
And the NASCAR folks are in Bristol this weekend, the great stadium race at Bristol on the short track. In a few weeks, they'll be at Talladega, where they'll be going 200 miles per hour plus door handle to door handle and bumper to bumper. You can be part of the big racing weekend with a lot of interactive displays, great tailgatings, and up close personal to that action. All you have to do is go to TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com for tickets. Hardy in concert Saturday night. Your ticket gets you in the infield to see that. And then the Yellowwood 500 playoff race for NASCAR on Sunday, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. LT mentioned the late window. Colorado State at 9 on ESPN. Around 9:30 on FS1, Fresno State, Arizona State. Fresno State currently, as we pointed out, second longest win streak in the country there in Tempe. Kansas and Nevada. Kansas looked good, but remember last year they were good the first half of the season and then faltered late. They're much better than Nevada. And UTEP, Arizona, what may end up being the best game of that late slate there.
No, it could be. Again, UTEP's got 3 games under their belt. Arizona coming off that emotional East Coast trip where they turned the football over 5 times and lost in overtime to Mississippi State.
Slice brings you our 4 downs. LT will tell you about Slice right when we're done with our 4 downs. Tell us about first down, Rockstar.
First down.
What would be the bigger upset, South Carolina over Georgia or Colorado State over Colorado?
I would say South Carolina over Georgia. What is that Colorado State point spread just for the heck of it?
24 now.
24, yeah.
It'll probably be 25, 26 by game time.
Yeah.
They'll be close.
I mean, South Carolina over Georgia, to me, would be the bigger of the 2 upsets.
I would say yes. There may be more enjoyment coast to coast on Colorado State over Colorado, but anytime number 1 goes down, it's bigger. And I think you would have stories written on Sunday and people on Saturday night talking about, is there a chance the SEC does not have a playoff team this year?
Yeah.
Is the SEC done by September?
It's a good point. I think that probably would be the narrative.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, because the SEC has given everyone ammunition in their out-of-conference to have that narrative already, right?
Yep.
And if the one team that hasn't been tested out-of-conference gets a conference upset like that, that's going to be the big narrative.
Second down.
Who gets to a college football playoff first, Deion or Josh Heupel?
It'll be Heupel. I mean, 12-team next year. Heupel, I mean, I think they would be a favorite to make a 12-team next year. I don't think they could be a big upset.
I don't think Heupel would be a favorite next year.
No, not a favorite to win it, just to make a 12-team.
Yeah, but with Texas coming into the league, Oklahoma coming into the league next year, Colorado going into that vacated spot, the portal, I mean, I really fully believe that the number of proven stars like Jordan Addison and Caleb Williams type players leaving programs to go play for Deion next year at Colorado it'll be a huge storyline as this offseason progresses. You'll have stars that will leave programs like, I will say it, I think a star, I don't know who, but I think a star will leave a program like Alabama or Georgia or LSU and go play for Deion.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised.
A star will leave Clemson and go play for Deion. Like Ohio State for Deion.
Yeah, we don't know behind the scenes how hard Deion is, and I heard this week that he coaches them up and coaches really, really hard. Somebody in the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room is pointing out he's 29-6 as a head coach. I can't believe I'm saying this. I think Heupel's the better coach. Deion definitely is the better brand. I'm going to go Deion here.
Yeah, I mean, it would not surprise me if it's Deion.
Yeah.
Especially if they don't have a quarterback at Tennessee. We'll know more about Milton and Nico Amalieva sitting there waiting. But if they don't have that quarterback, they're going to keep one. Shedeur won't go pro probably. They're going to keep one more year at Colorado.
Give me Heupel.
I'll take Deion.
Third down.
Interesting question here. Better chance of happening, Pac-12 team goes undefeated in the regular season, or Alabama loses 3 games in the regular season?
Counting the one they've already lost.
Yeah.
I think more likely Bama loses 3 games. It's not really a commentary on Alabama. It's more a commentary on the Pac-12. I just think it will be far too difficult for a Pac-12 team to go unscathed this year.
Yeah, I do think it's unlikely a Pac-12 team goes unbeaten. And as you said, next 7 games for Alabama, just all their conference games, all 8 of them, are going to be the potential of an upset happening throughout the year, including Jordan-Hare Stadium at the end. Until proven wrong, I'm not going to say this Alabama team's invincible, so I could, easily see 3 losses like in 2010.
Yeah, I've said all year there's no way a Pac-12 makes it undefeated, but I still, as bad as Alabama looked in spots, that was a really good Texas team. I can't envision Nick Saban at this point in his career losing 3 regular season games. So I'm actually going to say Pac-12 team, hopefully, fight on. USC can pull it up.
And again, this wasn't me saying Bama's going to lose 3. It's just me saying
probably both of these don't happen.
Yeah, I think the Pac-12 is too tough to go undefeated right now.
Fourth down.
Toughest question yet. More likely to take off their shades in public, Eric Church or Deion Sanders?
I don't know that I've seen Church without him. I've at least seen Prime
I've heard a
without him.
story about Church without him, though.
Have you now?
No, I heard like when he comes in the floor of Bama, he will take them off because people don't recognize him without his sunglasses.
Oh, how unique. So instead of wearing sunglasses to hide, he takes them off to hide.
Doesn't that make sense, though?
That is
Like,
funny.
I would have no idea that's Eric Church without sunglasses. If Eric Church walked in with a ball cat and sunglasses, I'd be, there's Eric Church. I don't even listen to it.
I'd probably go, damn, that guy looks like Eric Church.
But he's
Even
not
without sunglasses?
No.
Oh.
With the sunglasses. I would never believe it's him. I never believe I'm actually looking at a star. So I wouldn't believe it was him. I would say it's going to be Eric Church. More likely not to take his sunglasses off.
I would agree. I think it's Church.
Yeah.
Just because I heard that story.
Deion will take his sunglasses
Well, I mean, this
off.
is a night game in Boulder Saturday night. Do you think he'll coach in the sunglasses still? Wouldn't you think?
No. He won't coach in the sunglasses.
Oh, I think he absolutely.
Well, I think now he might.
He'll have him up like this.
You think so?
I don't know.
On his hat?
I don't know. Those lights are really bright in Boulder.
Are they?
Oh, Folsom Field. I think the
light shine
I think the
brightest.
wattage is 180.
Yeah, but right here now on First Take, you see what all the other guys are doing on the set, right? They've all got their sunglasses on.
Do they? Oh, yeah. It's become the storyline thanks to Jay Norvell's grandstanding.
Yeah. So that's our 4 downs. Brought to you by the great folks at Slice.
Yeah, look, weekend's here. You can get that carry-out special. Remember, 12 fire-baked wings, 2 of the specialty pizzas, a half pan of the salad, all for $75. Available at all 4 locations, 7 days a week. The original Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
One more big thing to ask you here in a second after I remind you that our friends at Hemp Hill, for all your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name Birmingham's trusted since 1954. Hemp Hill Services. You can call them up right now, 205-229-2090, 205-229-2090. That's our friends at Hemp Hill Services right there. So there was a story that came out yesterday at ESPN.com, and I never know how much to give to this kind of story, and I wonder if you think it will impact Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. He's been really good in the portal. He's a good recruiter, exciting coach. A former player, DeSanto Rollins, is suing Lane Kiffin and the University of Mississippi for the way he says he was treated during what he called a mental health crisis, failure to provide equal protection, and racial and sexual discrimination is what the lawsuit is. He's asking for $10 million compensatory, $30 million punitive in damages. Basically, he said he was going through a mental health issue and was missing meetings and practices, and then would not go and meet with the coach when he was asked to go meet with the coach, and was kicked off the team. And they have recordings, according to ESPN.com's Heather Dinich.
Mental illness is such a severe thing. I would hope nobody would use this as an excuse to get out of practice or meetings. But on the other side, if they are, you still can't call somebody out on it. And look, this is just first of all, it's a serious thing. Can you imagine if Rollins does something to himself after one of these conversations? The other thing, this is recorded. There's audio recording, and based on the transcript, some of the things that Lane Kiffin has said, if Ole Miss wants him out, they can push him out now.
Yeah, without paying anything.
That's fact.
Yeah. It's a very unfortunate situation. I'm like Lance, there's so many things that get lumped under mental illness now that, I mean, I do think there are people out there, like anything, like sexism, racism, any ism, people are always going to use it for their benefit, whether it exists or not. There are places where it legitimately exists, but there are also going to be people that are going to try to use it for their benefit when it doesn't exist.
Well, and there are some people out there, look, and I've been in this spot before where I was having a bad day, and I'm like, damn, I'm a little depressed. You don't know depression until it hits you.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the kid really is having a mental breakdown, which is a real deal for some people out there, or he's just homesick and doesn't want to practice and he feels like he's depressed. I mean, there's a big difference between the two, but at the same time, if you're told that in today's age, you can't really call a bluff on that.
Yeah, you can go read the full story, and it's a lengthy one at ESPN.com to get all the details and judge for yourself. Still to come, Monday's headlines today. In fact, are you guys want to do it next segment?
I'm ready, man. Rockstar should
I'm
have
not,
mine.
but I will
You
try
got
to
mine,
figure something
Rockstar?
out.
I do not.
It's in your email.
All right, we'll do it coming up at the top of the hour.
I can do it. I got one now.
All right,
You got it
Just
ready?
looked at it.
All
Yeah,
right.
I got to word it out.
Okay, that's next segment then. We'll give you a little Monday headlines today. In the 11 o'clock segment, we will have Rockstar's Playhouse today, and then Trash, and then we'll wrap up the show with our Pick 3 coming up a little bit later on. All that is still to go on a jam-packed day here that's being brought to you by our friends at A+. A+ has got Brown's house looking great.
They really do. You know, we bought our house back in 2015, and we didn't really care for the master bath. Scott is showing you photos on our video platform. It was just bright and white. We like the darker colors. So we had decided we were going to fix it up. But you know what happens? You kick the can down the road. You spend that money elsewhere. Kids go to college. Finally, my wife was like, hey, we're going to do it. So she scoured the internet. She found the best in Brad Bell. I mean, she talked to a ton of people that had used certain contractors. She talked to contractors themselves, read reviews. Brad was the guy she picked. I'm so glad she did. You're seeing, if you're still watching, what Scott's showing you, it was exactly the bathroom we wanted. And Brad did great work. His crews did great work. They were tremendous. They were clean. They were on time. They were efficient. He could do the same for you. He did the same for Lance, in fact. When you look at Lance's, his was dark. He wanted a lighter bathroom. Brad didn't say, no. Here's the way you should go. He said, all right. You got that vision? We'll do it. His crews do amazing work. They do master bath and kitchen. That is where you're going to get your money back when you sell your house. The master bath and the kitchen. And that's what Brad specializes in. Give him a call today. A+ Tile Home Remodeling. 205-422-1758. That is 422-1758. If you miss anything, hit me up. I'll get you in touch with Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
It's NBA time, Birmingham, as we hoop it up with the New Orleans Pelicans and Houston Rockets, October 12th at Legacy Arena. Single-game tickets are now available. Visit BirminghamSquadron.com or call 205-719-0850 for more information or to buy tickets. And the game is packed with former local players like Herb Jones and Kyra Lewis Jr. and Jabari Smith, and other superstars like Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. You can also become a Squadron season ticket holder to get complimentary tickets to this huge event right here in the Magic City. The Pelicans preseason game in Birmingham sold out last year, so get your tickets as soon as possible. Do that online at BirminghamSquadron.com or by calling 205-719-0850. October 12th, it's the Pelicans and Rockets at Legacy Arena right here in Birmingham. BirminghamSquadron.com. The Next Round is brought to you in part by the biggest, baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and always puts on a great show for the fans. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming and you do not want to miss it. Saturday, September 30th is the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, followed by Sunday's Yellowwood 500 in the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs. Be there to see drivers battle 500 miles to survive. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Remember, we'll get back to the Buffalo Wild Wings and MyBookie.ag Pick 3 coming up later in the show. Village Vice is our overtime episode. I'm reading in my email right now, coming up right after our show today at 12 Central Time. So don't go anywhere when our show is done today. But we're getting ready for another home game coming up this weekend with our friends at Legacy and UAB. Here's Trent Dilfer.
A winning mindset on the field translates to an unwavering determination to save and invest for a prosperous future.
That's right, Coach. Creating a winning mindset for your money can be challenging. Legacy Credit Union can help when you start saving for a prosperous future. It only takes $5 to join and become a member at Legacy, where you can benefit from competitive rates on loans, little or no fees, exceptional service, and a lot more. Visit LegacyCreditUnion.com, LegacyCreditUnion.com, and click Join, where you can open your new account in minutes. Legacy is the official credit union of UAB and a proud supporter of Trent Dilfer and UAB football, federally insured by the NCUA. Getting ready for our Monday headlines today, part of our spotlight today. Don't forget, next Thursday, we'll be at the Grocery Brew Pub, the Grocery Brew Pub. If I ask you quickly, where does Miami finish in the ACC now? In the
Second.
standings. Second in the ACC.
Oh, really? So they play for the championship?
Yeah, I think they're the second best team. I'm not sold on UNC and Gene Chiswick's defense is better. There is no doubt. North Carolina's going to be able to run the football. They've got an elite quarterback. They're going to be a tough out. Clemson's still going to be Clemson. But I think Florida State has separated themselves, and again, against SEC speed, what Miami showed me last week. They've got an elite quarterback, too. Shannon Dawson, this new system really benefits Tyler Van Dyke. I like Miami a lot.
When you were running through last night's scores, and I know Miami played Bethune-Cookman, I almost said that has become the most fascinating team in the ACC, maybe in the country to me. I'm not quite ready to go country, but I will say ACC, Miami. I mean, if they're going to play Clemson in a couple of weeks. The game is at Hard Rock, and then they have to go to Tallahassee to play Florida State. But that Clemson-Miami game is one of the most interesting upcoming games in college football.
Mario Cristobal, who you don't think can coach on Saturdays, right?
I think that's the worst part of Mario Cristobal.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. I think he's a really, really good recruiter.
Good face for your program. Does good
Intense
press
guy.
conferences, all
Always
those
has
things,
good
yeah.
offensive lines, but I just don't know. I think, when it gets down to a really, really good opponent in a tight game, we'll see what happens this year, but I like this Miami team.
Yeah, two big wins last week for two guys y'all don't think are great head coaches, Steve Sarkisian and Mario Cristobal.
That is correct. You're absolutely right.
Cristobal was going against Jimbo Fisher.
listen,
Number two pencil? No, it's a pen. It's a pen, Jimbo.
But that was both of them, though. That was the biggest win at their program on the same night. I mean, the same day. But at North Carolina, they got Georgia Tech next, but then at North Carolina and against Clemson, I think we'll learn a lot about Miami in those 2 weeks.
Our Monday morning headline, our spotlight today, brought to you by the Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs Series weekend coming up, and you don't want to miss it. The action kicks off on Saturday, September 30th, with the Craftsman Truck Series playoff race, all leading up to the NASCAR Cup Series playoff on Sunday, October 1st. Be there to see the drivers battle 500 miles to advance in the playoffs, and Hardy in concert on Saturday night. Get your tickets at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. September 30th and October 1st. It's TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Rockstar, let's do the spotlight, man.
The College Football Spotlight.
Like the game's already been played. Monday's headlines today.
All right. Fast and Furious. We're going to tell you how the game's going to play in our headlines. Let's do mine first. Go ahead and pop mine up.
You like it?
Rockstar. Here we go. No, I don't really love it, but the Dunaway Digest brings you this one. Nittany's pray to Allah for Eastern Crown. Nittany's pray to...
Where's your mat?
Nittany's pray to Allah for Eastern Crown. That quarterback is good. Penn State 33, Illinois 10. Don't read the story from Champaign. These are just words that are not really a part of the story, but are here just to fill up the space so Brown doesn't look like he does better production than me.
Oh, I can't beat the Dunaway Digest. You kidding me, Jim?
Yeah.
And then the other headlines, Tua intent again.
Yeah, gosh.
Chili fires bullet, dog opening at LT's.
Hey, I have found out Chili's the worst dog.
Really?
Yeah. Bullet is low-key, still hasn't barked, and
Yep.
Chili is just a menace.
Yep.
That's an upset, Dunaway.
Should I flip that around? Bullet fires Chili?
Oh, he wants to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking if I have to rehome one, it might be Chili.
It's a one-sheeter, by the way, Dunaway Digest. There's nothing on the back. That's mine. Who's next, Rockstar?
Pray to Allah. I cannot believe it.
Well, I'll do mine. What we got
I
here?
can't believe you didn't like that.
This is Rockstars.
This is the Spartan back pages.
Uh-oh. Back
Michigan
pages.
State phones it in against Washington.
Oh, that is so good.
we have a new leader.
Now, is that Mel Tucker or Ving Rhames?
It's Mel Tucker.
We have a new
He's on
leader.
a business call.
Hey, by the way, his girl didn't look like that.
We have a new leader. Good pull on the 1-900 old commercials.
I love Smarty too, laid out,
He's relaxed, man.
centerfold like.
I think that is the commercial that suckered me in back in 1989, Rockstar.
She seems interested, doesn't she?
She does. She does.
Michigan State phones it in.
That's so good.
A new leader.
Oh, Rocky.
You should have saved that for last.
Who's next, LT or Brownie?
I can go. I'm fine going. Mine comes from Missouri, Kansas State. We got Manhattan on the rocks. Missouri sells out, so they force Kansas State fans to sit on the rocks in Columbia. Manhattan's on the rocks.
I like it.
I got to start doing production, I guess. I had totally forgotten about this, but I did it on the fly. So,
wait a minute. Oh, we got other headlines in mind. I'm sorry, Lance. I don't want to avoid that. We've got a Thursday night Hey Coach that's resulted in a restraining order for Birmingham sportscaster.
I will tell you, I did touch Nick Saban
did you wash your hands?
more than I ever did last night.
Wow.
Hit trash open.
Touched him on his back. We shook hands several times. I may or may not have hugged him.
So
when it
you
was over.
violated Nick Saban's personal space.
Did you reach over and pat his leg?
I did not touch his leg. But
Should have given him a roll of
I
nickels.
did hit him on the back a couple of times.
Did you?
Patted him on the back a couple of times.
Is that a roll of nickels, or are you just happy to see Coach Saban?
Both.
Hey, look at that other one. Dogs completely ransack home. The owner was unaware because the quote-unquote Rams were playing.
Oh,
That's an
you know
unfortunate
what?
story right there.
I busted out a couple of Rams jerseys for the dogs for Sunday, though. They're going to be down there with me.
Oh, you think so?
They're not going to ransack a home?
Oh, I had 5-1 odds you were going to put them in a kennel on Sunday.
No.
For the Rams game?
For 3 hours.
Yeah.
Because I'll be jumping around and they'll be jumping around. We jump around together. Here's mine from the Arkansas Democrat Gazette.
The O'Dim Gaz.
Hogtied. BYU soaks in the upset.
You need to know the history. That's
Boy,
a good one.
If you had done production, I would love to see the picture.
Soaking is that. There's another thing. I think there's marinating too, but the soaking
What's
is the
the
big.
difference? Well, I don't want to.
We don't have to do it, but there is marinating too. But soaking is the big.
I like to soak things in, don't you?
I'm a huge fan of soaking in things.
Not a time for a commercial transition, by the way.
We've got to.
Well, no, not to one particular client there.
When there's less.
Rockstar, good job, man. That one made me laugh.
Yeah,
Yours
that
and
was good.
Dunaway's were absolutely the best. Yours are very good too.
I mean,
I had the
pretty
loser
good for
today.
3 minutes.
I had the
right?
loser today.
We appreciate that so much. By the way, our wonderful friends at Hemp Hill controls all the plumbing, the heating, and the cooling in your house.
Yeah, I got a picture earlier that the old dishwasher looks like it's gone out, water all over the floor. I don't know who's got my voodoo doll, but
I think I have a couple of suspects.
Oh, it's nonstop. But right now, though, Hemp Hill offering that 0% for 60 months for qualified customers, plus free 10-year labor warranty when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Make sure that HVAC unit ready to keep up with this changing weather. Hemp Hill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. Call them now, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Hey, just while we're doing headlines, Tampa Bay beat the Orioles last night 4-3. The Rays are now within one game. They play again tonight, Saturday and Sunday. Fun series there at Camden Yards. Also, Birkenstock, another, and while we talked about Sark and your love for Sark and Brownie's love for Cristobal, you do not like Birkenstocks, right?
And for the record, my ex-wife's got them, Leighton's got them, Jace has got them, Jack refuses like me, but I hate Birkenstocks. I think they're off.
Their value, Birkenstock's value, reached $8 billion, the company, this past weekend, and they've now applied for an IPO on the New York Stock Exchange.
You know, I think it's a brand and style that has never really gone out of style.
Yeah, and it'll keep cyclical. Like it was a lot bigger in the 90s.
Maybe.
It dropped a little bit.
Maybe, but they're
and
back
now
up
it's
now.
back up to where it was. Yeah, so I mean, I give them credit. I just don't like it.
It's never just really disappeared, you know?
And I think Lunsford, it has I never watched the Barbie movie, but Birkenstocks are featured in the Barbie movie, which has caused a big bump up.
Barbie stocks.
This summer, Barbie stocks right there. An upset of the weekend, if you're looking for a group of 5 over a power 5, I'm not even sure if it's a betting upset, but Ohio hosting Iowa State. Iowa State's depleted by the gambling suspensions. The Ohio Bobcats could win this game outright, right?
I mean, it's only a 3-point number. And Iowa State's got offensive issues again. Curtis Rourke is back in the lineup. I think Ohio wins this game. The reason I'm staying away from it, I do like the Bobcats here. 11 o'clock game.
I had a buddy over Saturday, was watching some of the football with me, and I had the Cyhawk game on one of my screens, and they showed Matt Campbell, and he goes, he just missed his window, didn't he?
To get out.
Yeah, he did. I mean, I think he's probably Iowa State for life now.
Probably.
Yeah, that was bad. Mario Cristobal with a big recruit yesterday, keeping a Miami player home. 5-star defensive end Armando Blunt. He's the 4th best recruit in 2025. Picks Miami. Anybody want to guess who he picked Miami over? 4 other schools. Name one.
I am going to go Florida State.
Florida State is one of them.
Wow, how about that? Okay, Florida State's one of them. I'll go Florida.
Nope.
Oh.
I will go Ohio State.
Ohio State's one of them.
Let Lance keep guessing.
Two more.
Michigan.
Oh, my gosh.
Michigan's not one.
Okay, let Lance keep guessing.
Georgia.
Surprisingly, Georgia's not one.
Alabama?
Surprisingly, Alabama's not one.
You take it.
Oklahoma and USC are the other two. Miami kid.
Oh, yeah, good options.
But that what you got finally to what I was talking about.
Yeah.
No Georgia, no Alabama
Yeah.
for that kid who is the fourth best prospect in 2025 at defensive end, which has been a killer for Georgia and Alabama in recent years. We're back in a moment right here on TNR, the show being brought to you by JohnstonRVCenter.com.
I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator. You might be asking yourself right now, self, what is the number one selling RV brand in the country? Well, your answer, self, would be Cherokee. And you would say, well, I mean, is that true in Alabama? Yes, it is true in Alabama. Well, if that's true, then where can I buy them? Well, the number one dealer in Alabama for Cherokee just so happens to be Johnston RV Center. And they just so happen to be loaded up with them right now. Cherokee Gray Wolves, Alpha Wolf, Fifth Wheel like the Arctic Wolf, Toy Haulers like the Wolf Pack. They got something for everybody, and payments starting low as $199 a month. That is $199 a month for a Cherokee. Lifetime warranty, by the way, including all new campers and used campers that are 2 years old or older at Johnston RV Center. You can find them I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, and always online, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
As summer starts to fade, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pest, it's fall invader season. Hold on tight because we've got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight. Box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and let's show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your party. Take charge today. Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
The Next Round brought to you by the biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, the Talladega Superspeedway. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming up. You don't want to miss it. The action kicks off Saturday, September 30th with the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, all leading up to the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs on Sunday, October the 1st. Be there to see these drivers battle for 500 miles to survive and advance to the next round of the playoffs. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Again, that is TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Going to a big football game? Walking around all day? Then you'll want comfortable shoes. This is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store. Score a touchdown with a new pair of ultra-comfortable running or walking shoes. Come to the New Balance Birmingham store. I'm telling you, we'll make sure you have a perfect fit and we'll treat you like the starting QB. Our job is to make sure your feet are happy. Visit the New Balance Birmingham store on Highway 280 next to Chick-fil-A. Your feet will thank you.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, final hour of the show, and it is jam-packed. We're about to go around and listen to a lot of the coaches, but you want jam-packed, man. That's the races you get at Talladega. I mean, 40, 41, 42, 43 cars all running around 200 miles per hour until the big one happens. and it always does at Talladega. You can be there for the next big race coming up September 30th and October 1st, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. You jump in there, you get your tickets, you get to see the truck race on Saturday, and then you get to see Hardy in concert. And then you go on Sunday with the Yellowwood 500. It's all the racing, September 30th, October 1st, all with one ticket, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Let's talk a little bit about the games that are going on, specifically in the SEC. Let's hear from the folks in the Tennessee and the Florida game, guys. Let's go Josh Heupel first on going to the Swamp, where Brownie, they haven't won since when?
Oh, Jimmy, it's been 2003, only twice since 1972.
That's a long time. It's got to be a thing, right, Josh Heupel?
Florida obviously going to be a huge environment. How do you either tune out that noise or just get used to playing in those big games to settle in earlier?
Yeah, you're not going to completely tune out the noise, but once you get the play call, man, you're focusing on your job. It's 11 guys inside of the white line. I don't care if it's at home, on the road, in the backyard. These guys have been doing it for a long time. You do have to control your emotions, right? You got to have be able to execute and play from within yourself. That'll be a big part of the football game.
Big part of the football game. They haven't won there since when, Brown?
Jim, it'd be 2003. 03.
Do you realize they won there in 2001 and 2003?
Back-to-back.
Same quarterback. Do you know who it was?
For Tennessee?
Yep.
That was Casey Clausen.
Very good.
Was it really?
Yeah.
He is now coaching football at his alma mater high school out in California.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Yeah, 2003, the last time
That was a lucky guess, by the way.
It was very good, though.
Yeah.
Last time they won there, and they've only won 5 games there all time. The Swamp is sold out for this game. It's crazy that Florida has fallen to the point that they have to announce a sellout for the Tennessee game, but they did announce a sellout for the Tennessee game. It is sad. I agree completely. Missouri's the one that should be announcing sellouts, which they did.
Do you not think? And by the way, the whole phenomenon of SEC schools announcing sellouts, is a recruiting thing. By the way, I talked to somebody on social media, and it just looks good if you announce sellouts.
Okay, well, it's sad that you have to. I mean, like you can't say, hey, by the way, whole season sold out.
Yeah. I like hearing we've sold out 117 straight home games.
Yeah. I wonder how many of those are Tennessee fans buying a little extra.
That's a good question.
To fill it up.
Thinking
Not
they're gonna
Florida
win.
fans coming to help the team, but Tennessee fans thinking, I'm going there, I'm going to see a win in the Swamp.
right.
I hadn't seen it in 20
So
years.
it's a great question. I don't know the answer to that.
Because they've been
obviously.
stamping out streaks left and right the last couple of years.
Yeah.
They want to stamp one more out, stomp one more out. Can you tune something out? You can tune it out,
Yeah,
tune
you
it
tune
in.
it out.
You can tune it out, you can tune it in.
and tune
Yeah,
out.
you told me I used to tune out the fourth hour.
Yeah. Tune in. You can tune it in. I don't know if you can tune it out.
You tuned in Rockstar. You can tune in Tokyo, right?
Yep.
Can you do that? Yep. You can tune out
Tune in radio.
Tune in radio. Tune out the
Tune
fourth
out you
hour,
two
apparently.
when you're arguing.
Hey,
Tune out the nuance.
you finally tuned out the fourth hour. Good job by you. Billy Napier's trying to tune out some bad noises. Here's Billy Napier on how big this game is for the Gators.
Relative to the flow of the season and goals, just how kind of pivotal is this
time out.
game?
Yeah, you're not going to do it.
We got to hear the question again.
Relative to the flow of the season. God, I don't want to be here.
Honest to goodness, is that on full speed?
I got to ask a question.
Relative to the flow of the season and goals, just how kind of pivotal is this game?
Yeah, it's a big game. I mean, I think anytime you play a rival, it's a big game. You play in an Eastern Division opponent, SEC play, home opener when it comes to the SEC. It certainly has a program. I mean, there's magnitude here, but I would tell you they all matter, right? I mean, I don't necessarily think there's one that doesn't matter on our schedule. So I think the big key here is that we focus on what's going to help us play better, and I think that's the whole key to the drill.
Boy, at least Billy didn't give us coach speak that entire
I know.
answer.
Who was
My
slower?
guys.
The question. Hey, one more time, Rockstar. The question again. What if Billy answered it this way? Hit it.
Relative to the flow of the season and goals, just how kind of pivotal is this game?
Well, first off, we're going to have to play with a lot better speed than your question.
Wow. I don't want to
We
make you
come off
guys
as
feel
slow.
bad, but this guy was in a wheelchair with a halo.
Oh, you're-
I'm looking at it right now. I'm kidding.
Stop
I'm
it. Stop it.
kidding.
Part of the show being brought to you by Champy's. They bring you this whole hour. Champy's Chicken, champyschicken.com. Highway 119 in Alabaster. Perfect for your tailgate. Perfect to sit back and watch games all weekend long as well. That includes South Carolina and Georgia playing each other between the hedges. Here is Tonka Hemingway.
I love the name.
Tonka Hemingway back at SEC Media Days when we were in Nashville. Forrest went all the way back in our archives, back to July when we were all in Nashville. And Tonka Hemingway talks about the most hostile SEC stadium out there.
Being in the SEC, you get to play in a lot of the biggest environments, biggest stadiums in college football. Of course, Williams-Brice is right up there with a lot of the top environments in the SEC. But as far as away environments are concerned, and in your career so far, what has been the most hostile road environment you've played in your time with the Gamecocks?
Ooh, hostile? I probably say like one of the loudest. Texas A&M. Texas A&M a good one. Tennessee can get pretty loud too as well. So between them two.
So people are pissed he didn't say Samford Stadium?
Oh, he didn't say Georgia. That's where does he play this week?
Oh, that's at Samford Stadium in Georgia.
Plays Georgia. Kirby Smart. Just give me the picture of Kirby real quick.
Wow.
Kirby happy to be
You
there?
raise a good point.
Go pluck yourself is what he's thinking.
Kirby, somebody farted up there?
I mean, I've never seen Kirby raise an eyebrow before. Here's why he's raising the eyebrow. Here's the question.
I know at SEC Media Days, Tonka Hemingway was asked about some of the toughest stadiums he played in, and Georgia wasn't on that list. How important or how just good to see Samford being one of the toughest places to play around not only the SEC but the NCAA?
Yeah, I'm expecting it to be that. People want to question whether our fans are elite. We'll find out Saturday, right? Sounds like Tonka called them out. So maybe we need to use Tonka for motivation and let him be the one that spurns our group to come out there at 3:30 and be really loud and fired up. So I certainly hope our fan base will be there. They've answered the bell every single time. I don't know why they wouldn't now.
Boy, this is how it works now. Tonka did not call them out at all.
Nope, he didn't.
He didn't even mention them.
Didn't mention them.
If you put me on the spot sometimes, I'm not going to, if you're like, give me your 5 favorite foods, I might leave one out and go back and go, damn, why didn't I go chili cheese dog with mayonnaise?
Yeah, it's on the fly there.
Yeah, I did not script out my questions last night for Hey Coach on Nick Saban. I did everything on the fly. Did not think about him one time. I was nervous because I was just going to put off the cuff in the past. I've worried about it. I didn't worry about it last night and had a blast. But on the way home, I thought of 3 other questions I wish I'd asked him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's you just when you're on the spot.
Hey, put him in the holster. You'll get another opportunity.
I was thinking of you because you normally ask, is there, you normally either run one by us or say, hey, help me think of a question or something like that. And I was thinking of you last night when I was driving home from Bud Light Game Night, and I was going to listen to the show. I was going to listen to some of you on there. Only problem with that is I have absolutely no earthly idea who carries Alabama football in this market. So it took me forever to find on terrestrial radio the station that had the show on.
Yeah.
And I finally found it after it had already wrapped up. But that said, I thought of a question that either the next time Coach is on the show or the next time I do, hey, Coach, I don't think I've ever heard Nick Saban ask this question. I'm going to ask it. I'm confident I've never heard him ask the question.
I know Reed and I don't talk a lot, but I will tell you this. He would be proud of me last night, and you would too, LT. I got asked this question by Eli. We're waiting on Coach to get back from a commercial break. Tell us what's the difference between the podcast, The Next Round, and traditional media.
And this is on the air.
Yeah. And I said, not anything, Eli. We're trying to make as much money as we possibly can.
Cheers.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right?
Like it.
Hats off.
Yeah.
Hats off. Yeah, there you go.
Did Eli then say, well, how can I get involved?
No, he didn't. He said,
how can I get involved?
Oh, Coach Saban is back now. Coach, welcome back.
It's a good answer, Jimmy.
Is that a good Eli? Is that a good?
They're all great.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper, another one.
Another one.
What did Brent Musburger say on that thing? Right?
The process continues at Alabama.
What's Stan White say?
Oh my God!
What did Howard Stern say about Stan White?
It sounds like yes. Well, no.
That's where we draw the line.
What Pat Dye say?
You got the reason why we met you in the summertime is we're gonna show I want to go 12 and 11 and 0.
What Bear Bryant say?
Oh my God!
I mean, we haven't played it forever.
What'd the song say?
Why don't you just play the clip?
Why not? Why not?
What's it Bryant said? We got it right where we want.
11 men. 11 just gonna do their job.
Oh, now sing the song. Sing the song.
You'll get a dinged on that.
Yeah, that's where it is, Jimmy.
Oh, the damn songs.
I know.
All right. Part of the show today being brought to you by our friends at Odie's, LT. We're just trying to make money.
Hey, live music tonight and tomorrow night. Remember, every Wednesday it's Odie's Team Trivia. Great food from Rodney Davis, award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great wraps and sandwiches, including the Diablo sandwich. Stop in, get some of those ice-cold beer buckets full of Bud Light. Go see Will Haver and that great staff. Odie's Tavern, Birmingham Institution, Crestline Village.
Forrester in the chat room also what Kay Ivey said. Rockstar.
I'm going to go to Fairhope and get a little swim in. Oh, it's Pantsuit Friday. Did I tell you about my ad campaign for her? She run again?
She's running for governor again?
Can she? I mean,
I don't know.
Trust me, I've seen politics in America. There's no age limit.
There is not.
Well, her campaign slogan should be on every sign. Every vote begins with K.
How would she say it in the commercial?
I mean, I've got a copy of brain scans of some of our leaders right now.
Yeah.
Here you go. This is the brain scans.
Yeah,
right
I don't
now.
think we're stopping Kay. I think anybody can run for office right now.
Here we go. Now, one more before we get to Rockstar's Playhouse, still to come in this segment. So do not go anywhere. Rockstar's Playhouse coming up in a second. But Will Rogers, I mean, hats off to Will Rogers, guys. They've changed the system, the style, and everything. So much so, he's still completing 72% of his passes. He has 0 turnovers so far. He made plays down the stretch to help Mississippi State stay unbeaten last week, and now here comes LSU to town. Little rivalry game for the folks who will be ringing cowbells this weekend, and here is Will Rogers about just how tough this team plans to be Saturday.
We're Mississippi State. You know, we call ourselves tough, gritty, football program, but I tell people all the time that's probably like one of the only games since I've been here where they played harder than we did. And we talked about that after the game. They definitely played harder than we did. So that's something that I'm sure we'll talk about this week, and we need to be ready to go come Saturday because like I said, I know they're going to be ready to play.
Yep. So it's a fun game this week. I'm excited about that contest.
5th in rushing attempts Lance, 6th in rushing attempts in the conference. Only Missouri, Tennessee, Vandy, Auburn, Arkansas have tried to run it more than Mississippi State. And 2nd in the conference in yards per game. So they've been effective in their attempts at running the football.
Yeah, Tennessee first right now in yards per game.
They are correct. Yep.
If they can keep this balance, if you can go out and effectively run against SEC defenses, Mississippi State's going to be good. They could end up being a dark horse again. The thing I saw last week was Arizona just completely shooting themselves in the foot. I thought it was going to be a complete blowout after Jaden Delora turned it over 3 times in the first quarter, but they were able to settle in. Mississippi State still gets out with a win, and if they beat LSU, which is, it's a possibility. I like LSU in this game, though.
Yeah, boy, Furman really did, though. He liked LSU by 2 scores.
Yeah, LSU's a much better team. Again, 11 o'clock game I can't touch.
11 a.m. on ESPN, straight out of Game Day, which is in Boulder, to sort of preview the game that starts at 9 o'clock Central Time. That's Colorado and Colorado State. But they'll be talking about all of college football with Reese and the gang. And don't forget, tomorrow morning, you can watch Game Day start at 8. Then at 9 Central Time, you can join us on all of our video platforms only for our Saturday morning kickoff show. 9 a.m. tomorrow. We do it every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. right in the middle of Game Day. We always promise to get you back for the picks in time for that, but you can get an hour of the mood at the Game Day site, then come to us 9 to 10-ish, and then back in time for the Game Day picks, and then you watch the football. That's every Saturday morning, and we appreciate our great sponsors. And thank you as well to Storm Restoration Roofing. They bring us Rockstar's Playhouse every week. Rockstar's Playhouse brought to you by Greg from Pell City on Facebook, and Storm Restoration Roofing, the home for the free no-cost roof inspection, 205-542-3531. Or again, Greg from Pell City, it's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Rockstar's Playhouse, this is Rockstar's Playhouse, this is Rockstar's Playhouse, come out and play. Rockstar's Playhouse, this is Rockstar's Playhouse, this is Rockstar's Playhouse, come out and play.
Oh, my.
Oh, that sounds swell.
I see the preview screen.
It's good.
So we had Scott and I had an chance to interview a legend out there. A guy that likes to talk weather.
Okay.
And somebody that I feel that admires me because he decided to wear the exact same outfit as me. We interviewed James Spann from ABC 3340. So this is a interview with James Spann, if Rockstar in the womb. Hey, it's Rockstar again. We are on the road today for the Womb Chair Show. I don't have a womb chair with you, but we are here live at ABC 3,340.
It's close enough.
With Mr. James Spann, my new best friend. I think we've developed a relationship already. We've been talking
weather guesser,
everything lately, and I'm just curious, James, how you doing, man? Everything
I'm good. And you know, we go to the same club, Hair Club for Men. It's good.
You're a little ahead of me, but it was crazy as we did our Larry King tribute today, and James made the rookie mistake. I got my belt on to extra hold those pants up. These are very uncomfortable. I don't like these at all. This is probably the last time I'll ever do it.
But it looks good on you, though. It's good.
I feel like I feel like I look great.
Yeah, it's a good look.
First question. Well, first thing, I'm going to do a couple puns for you. I want to do a couple things. How about this? You've got weather questions. James has Spancers.
He's been working all night on these lines. He's got a million of them. He'll be here till midnight.
No, it will be later than that. James, you're a charismatic guy. You're a likable guy. Have you ever considered running for office, public office, in any form or capacity?
Who in their right mind would want to do that?
Well, I say that because I may have some slogans for you.
Well, go! I can't wait. These are going to be good. I just can envision some bumper stickers. So go ahead.
Well, these are going to be great. So, regardless, the second one's really good, I think. First one: I'm James Spann. I'm here with you, whether or not. Oh! All right.
Wow.
Spangia. Bringing the world together again. See, I think that's good.
That is good.
Yes.
That might be the best one yet.
Do you have an adventurous bone? Do you have something where you like the thrill of something, just to get out, bungee jump, or?
I used to climb radio towers when I was younger. I would climb 300 feet on radio towers.
As a hobby or as a job?
As a hobby. My hobby's ham radio. We'd have these antennas on these big towers, and I like to climb the towers. Okay. I love the view. I love the thrill. I love to hang on. The things start to shake and bake a little bit up there. I mean, it's
too much. When's the last time you climbed a tower?
That's probably been 15 years ago.
All right.
Y'all could have been
Would
friends.
You consider skydiving?
Yeah. Yeah.
My idea.
Now, my wife would probably nix that, but I would, yes.
She could fly the plane.
Well,
that's love. What they do with skydiving, sometimes you have to pay for it, though. They attach a camera and you can have a soundtrack with it. And you can have a song, you can pick a signature song. For you, what would your song be?
Oh,
as you're jumping out of the plane, I have a perfect song for you.
I was about to say, I don't need to think about it because I know that you have one. So go.
James Spann, it's Raining Men. We all had a dream car when we were younger, 16. Was Mr. Spann's dream car an Oldsmobile Tornado? Was it?
I wish it was. That's a great choice. No, those are great.
Here comes Spann and his Tornado.
No. I would look good pulling up in the parking lot with those things.
Yeah, hitting that F5.
Oh, yes.
Putting that in gear.
Oh, God.
This is a weird scenario. Is it considered a faux pas for a weatherman if I'm shopping at, say, Parisian? and I see,
Parisian.
Yes. I mean, they are riches. I'm there all the time. If I walk out and I see my weatherman, James Spann, undercover because it's pouring outside and you don't have an umbrella, is that a faux pas for a weatherman?
Not for me.
Kind of like, why are you out? Why didn't you see this coming? Why didn't you know? You came out here, you don't even have an umbrella and it's pouring.
I have never used an umbrella in probably 30 years.
Ryan Brown would disagree with you because that's all he uses is umbrellas and he gets mocked for it all the time.
What's the matter with it? I have no hair. I have nothing to mess up. It's
close.
I don't even know how to operate a comb. I mean, I don't need an umbrella.
They're overrated.
They are.
I need to borrow your hairdryer tomorrow. Yeah. And now that we've been communicating together, I have the sacred phone number. So we're best friends now.
Yeah, we're besties. BFFs.
Is it cool if anytime I have a weather question, any time of day, I can just text you and ask, is this for real? And because I think I should have the privilege of that. I think that it shouldn't annoy you because it wouldn't annoy me if somebody said that Nick Saban's in town. Can you get me to meet him? I think those questions and requests are fun, and I think you would enjoy that.
No, Coach Saban's got my cell number. You got my cell number.
I need to borrow Saban's cell number, by the way. I have a question for him. I want to get him on this.
That's
next.
another topic for another day.
Okay. Well, we're going to wrap it up with Mr. Spann.
Mr. James Spann from ABC 3340. It hit
This guy's
time.
good. This guy's good.
This guy feels great. I'm going to take off my suspenders and sit down. They have a viewing chair in the bathroom. I'm going to look at that and review this tape. Mr. Spann, I love you, buddy.
I love you, man.
I love you.
I love you. Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, come out and play. Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, come out and play.
I'll tell you, cringeworthiness. Del Greco, it didn't bother me so much because, Al and all of us worked together for a while. But, I put Spann up on, the Mount Rushmore of Birmingham television. I got to bring in Forrester real quick. Forrester, you worked with James a long time. You know how he does such an important job. Were you cringing a little bit as this was going on?
No. Spann's such a he's such a good sport. I think he was having fun with it.
Yeah.
Well, see, the reason I said that last joke was I had to change. I'm not going to wear suspenders. It was also about 107 degrees outside that day. So I said, where's the nearest bathroom? And he pointed it to me. And I go in there, and there's a toilet and a chair that's staring at the toilet in this one little room.
But there's a shower in there, too.
Well, there's like a staring chair. And I was
Yeah,
like,
I
what
know.
is up with the staring chair? Like,
it is weird. Yeah.
So I was like, I got to bring that back up.
Yeah, there's a shower. I think the chair, there's a shower in that bathroom. So I'm assuming.
Are you saying the chair faces the shower?
But
Brown? What are you trying to say?
It's not like a folding chair.
Well,
It's like a dining room chair.
I think some of the people I go in there and change clothes. That's the bad.
I got to sit for this one.
It's exhausting.
It's the bathroom right off the studio, and there's a shower. And the Rockstar's right. I have noticed that chair there before. I'm like, that is kind of random. But
are you trying to tell us that you take a shower in there occasionally?
I have never taken a shower in that bathroom. I do go take a whiz in there before the zone, though. Yes.
Okay, so you're not in the shower after a round of golf before the zone, and Seacrest is in there on the lounging chair running over show notes?
No, I've never done that, Jim.
ABC's got a weird thing about the solo bathroom attendant. Number one and number two.
That was good stuff.
Thank you, Rockstar. That is Rockstar's Playhouse today, brought to you by our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. When we come back, LT has trash today, and then in the very final segment, we'll do the pick three again. You can play it right now thanks to our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings and mybookie.ag. It's the pick three at nextroundlive.com. Back in a moment.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations, but we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, brombergs.com. IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at Hydra Live Therapy. IV therapy treatments are packed with nutrients to increase energy, reduce stress and anxiety, and boost your immune system, and more. If you mention The Next Round at checkout, save 20% off any service. You can join the IV League today. Members are rewarded with deep discounts. Make sure you ask about that. Hydra Life Therapy open 7 days a week. Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone.
Going to a big football game? Walking around all day? Then you'll want comfortable shoes. This is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store. Score a touchdown with a new pair of ultra-comfortable running or walking shoes. Come to the New Balance Birmingham store. I'm telling you, we'll make sure you have a perfect fit and we'll treat you like the starting QB. Our job is to make sure your feet are happy. Visit the New Balance Birmingham store on Highway 280 next to Chick-fil-A. Your feet will thank you.
The extra hours of sunshine are back on the clock, and that means it's time for golf at Timberline, a short drive from Birmingham or Montgomery. Go to timberlinegc.com, timberlinegc.com to book your tee times, schedule a lesson, or just drop by and use the TrackMan technology on the driving range. The course is always fun, in great shape, and you can even become a member. Get all the details at timberlinegc.com. It's time to get your golf on with our friends at Timberline.
Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice.
The next round golf cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes in cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. A $247 value for just $89. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store. DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest.
On our way to trash with LT here today. Part of the show being brought to you by Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. They bring you this entire hour. Hand-cut chicken fingers, cooked to order Southern fried chicken, Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, all perfect in big pans if you want to take it to your tailgate. All the great sides to go with that. Sterling and his crew will take care of you. Or if you just want to take it home, you can take it home, or you can dine in there. Great place to watch games, a wonderful bar where Megan makes up the margaritas. It's all right there. Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Before we get to trash, I got 4 games for my pick 3. I got to pair one out.
How did we do last week? Do you have the results?
You know, I probably should have done that and updated the total with Taylor.
Yeah, no way.
I was 1-2.
I don't even remember who I picked.
I think I was 0-3. I've got it. I'll let Taylor do a quick squeeze update scoreboard in the next commercial break.
All right.
Maybe I'll try to come up with the scoring in between.
Oh, wait a minute.
Is it updated already?
Holy crap.
Oh, I remember now.
Yes.
I did it back on Monday.
Yeah, when you were 0-6, Jim?
Yeah.
So me and Lance have both hit 1 a week for the first 2 weeks.
And I felt really good about mine. Now, my Saturdays haven't been as bad as my pick 3. That's my problem. I'm peering down the wrong ones.
We'll do the pick 3 coming up in the next segment. Again, I told Furman, I'm doing just the opposite of the way I think games are going to go this weekend.
This is Dunaway's week.
Yep, so I may go 3-0. I may get a ball in the bucket, which you're trying to do. We'll do our pick 3 coming up in the next segment. You can go play right now at nextroundlive.com, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings and Mortgage Right. And don't forget NASCAR racing coming to Talladega. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com for tickets. That includes the truck race on Saturday, September 30th. The Hardy concert that night. Hardy in concert. It's not like a big, thick concert with a lot of people. It's actually an artist called Hardy.
This has got a good taste.
I'll have the Frisco chicken sandwich.
God, that thing, they soak that in butter. I remember having one of those one time.
It's a Hardy concert, in concert. And then Sunday, the Yellowwood 500, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. A couple of interesting injury notes in that LSU-Mississippi State game straight out of game day. Tight end Mason Taylor will be a game-time decision. Ankle injury last week. That's a big loss if they don't have him.
It is, again, and maybe in today's football, you just don't get tight ends involved as much as they should, but Mason Taylor's one of those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, Malik Neighbors is their go-to, but Mason Taylor, physical specimen that can make plays. But that is a big loss.
And linebacker Omar Spites will be a game-time decision. This both from Brian Kelly last night about LSU injuries. So 2 big players for them. Offensive and defensive players, game-time decisions, questionable is the word he used, before they play in Starkville, LSU and Mississippi State. Again, earlier, Brown was talking about the quarterback possibility of changing in Tuscaloosa. Before we do Trash Brown, a quick nutshell of what you believe will happen Saturday.
There's been a lot of smoke out of Tuscaloosa that Tyler Buckner has gotten more snaps with the ones than Jalen Milroe this week, and that he will start. It is my belief he will. It is Lance's belief he will. Jim is agnostic here. But we're not reporting it, nor is John Talty. A lot of people have tried to pin John Talty into reporting this thing, including the company that owns 24/7 Sports, CBS. I texted John. He said, I am not reporting it. That has been taken way out of context. I think John, from texting with him, probably feels the way we feel. It's likely he'll start, but he has not reported he will start.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with going on record like that, even if you got a confirmation from Nick Saban and something did happen, then you look like an idiot.
Yeah, if he wakes up with food poisoning.
Or if, say, if you did a coach show last night and Nick said I think I'm going to go with Buckner. And then all of a sudden you get there game day and they change their mind.
Yeah.
Or if you're doing coaching changes. And for a fact Rich Rodriguez is going to get the Alabama job, and then all of a sudden he doesn't take the Alabama job. mean, things can change.
That's right.
That's why breaking news, it's not worth it.
But I get enough wrong that I still feel good that Buckner is going to be your starting quarterback tomorrow. Yeah.
I do too.
Mortgage Right brings you trash, and LT tells us about Mortgage Right after Rockstar hits that somewhat huge button.
Big.
Yesterday was a little self-inflicted where I pried out that front control panel and cut them wires. They was kind of touching each other, shorting out the brain in the boat, and I didn't have no dash work, and I was back there hot wiring live wells, and it was my own fault.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
That was the guy commenting on. He was the Queen Elizabeth's driver.
That guy knows Queen Elizabeth. I'm about to say.
We're so gullible.
Well, how do you fix it?
Not Dion's driver either, right?
Eyes back here.
Mortgage Right. They've been advocating for veterans since their company began. As a veteran-owned, operated company committed to your well-being, they can help you find the best terms available, guide you through every step of the process. Visit their locations, Highway 280 in Birmingham, Parkway Drive in Leeds. You can apply at mortgageright.com/TNR. Call 205-815-9200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. We start first, Stephen King. There will be a day when...
He died?
No. Well, yeah.
There'll be a day
with
he
that.
dies. Absolutely.
But
It comes for us all.
be a day where there are English departments that will have studies on Stephen King. Like, I took Shakespeare in college.
Right.
There will be Stephen King classes, I believe.
Did you like Shakespeare?
I did not like Shakespeare. Too many vowels and...
Yeah, it's written old school.
Yeah.
Like, if he had written new school, I think I'd have liked him a little bit more.
I mean, I think Shakespeare
Yo, Juliet was straight up jacked up.
No, but he was sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
No, he really was.
Little
That's
incest in there.
That's what I was going to say. If you really acted out Shakespeare as an HBO series, I mean, it's a $1 billion idea. If you just take Shakespeare plays, use common day vernacular, and turn it into an HBO where you show everything, it would be a fantastic series.
Well, they've tried it. So I know Baz Luhrmann did the Romeo and Juliet. Othello was done like basketball player-wise.
Romeo and Juliet, they still use the actual verbiage and everything with Leo DiCaprio and Claire Danes. Like they did all the verbiage. It was
thank you.
It wasn't good.
Anyways,
it seems like was Cruel Intentions a Shakespearean type thing as well? Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so they have played off of it before. Stephen King has recalled how his love of Lou Bega's hit song Mamba Number 5 was so
song.
extreme. His wife threatened to leave him over it.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. Terrible song, man.
Rockstar, can you give me just a little feel for it?
A little bit of Monica in my life.
Yeah.
A little bit of Monica in my life. No, he wrote to that.
I will tell you.
Awful song.
Yeah, I will tell you that Maggie and I. When was that out? Rockstar, was that 1989?
No, that was 95.
No. It was 90,
I think.
99.
We
99.
It was 99.
Oh yeah, 99. That's right, 99.
So when I was growing up over in Calhoun County, over in Gadsden and neighboring Etowah County, there was a guy that on Local Access would buy time, and he would just go to karaoke bars and video people singing karaoke and edit it together.
Yeah.
And that was his intro song. Like,
It wasn't Disco right here.
no, it was not. It was.
Was it Bobby T?
No. It was sugar-free Bobby T. I mean, this was discount Bobby T, but he was doing, it was a funny show because you'd have these drunk people at the Oasis in Gadsden just get up and sing Garth Brooks. It was hilarious. The show was well worth watching, but that was like the intro to his show was Mambo Number 5.
It was called the Oasis?
The Oasis was the bar. I can't remember the name of the actual show.
So in that part of the song, I've got friends and when they see it the Oasis, they just stop and hold it out.
Hold it out, and the whole crowd says, Oasis!
So, 75-year-old writer, best known for horror novels, including Carrie, The Shining, has been married to fellow author Tabitha Spruce, who's 74 since 1971. Now, in a new interview with Rolling Stone, King was questioned about his love of the 1999, there we go, party favorite, explaining that he was a, quote, big-time fan of Bega's song. King explained, my wife threatened to divorce me. I played it that much. He continued on, said, I had the dance mix. I love those extended play things. I played both sides of it, and one of them was just totally instrumental. I played that thing until my wife said, quote, one more time, and I'm going to effing leave you.
Truthfully, looking at her, I think I'd put it on repeat.
Look, Stephen,
look at him.
Take a picture
Hey,
of us.
do a side-by-side, if you can, Rocky, of Stephen King and Janet Reno.
Hey, you're close. It's Will Ferrell as Janet Reno.
I'm telling you, they're dead on, though, man. Stephen King and Janet Reno, if you can.
You remember when Will Ferrell played Janet Reno? It's such a funny role.
King said he was most likely at the time working on 11/22/63, which ended up being a pretty good show on Hulu.
It's one of my favorite books. It's about 1,200 pages, but it is an amazing book.
Yeah, that's the one where off the Kennedy assassination, you go back in time.
Travel, and it's not a scary book. It's just a really good book.
Yeah, James Franco was really good in that. Generally, King said that he listens to less music when he writes nowadays. He says, I've slowed down a little bit. Not as limber as I was when I was 30, 35. So he was doing a bunch of blow when he was 30, 35, writing books and dancing.
Really bad. He was a really bad cokehead.
Oh, was he really?
Well, you'd see,
that
I was
explains a lot.
reading the Langoliers or something like that. It's just interesting how he said he'd go into these coke fuels because he'd start writing and he'd develop a character, a new character, a side character, and he'd give 2 chapters on that character, their backstory, their life, their how their parents raised them, what they do for a job. Explain this character for like 30 pages, and then that character just disappears. He's like, just coke fuel. I just start typing, and they don't edit it out. That's just that character was unnecessary.
So his masterpiece is probably The Stand, though.
Yes.
And you just could never bring The Stand to life because it's so massive.
They've tried twice. Paramount Plus tried it. It was awful, and then CBS tried it with
Rob Lowe and I forgot.
Really
it was a massive cast, and I watched it. It just didn't turn out good. He's got a bad love of bad songs though, because not only Mama Number 5, I remember him talking about My Humps, Black Eyed Peas, My Humps back in the day.
Yeah, I like that song. The big band swing music of that era right there. Maybe the most embarrassing moment of American music history. Hated that genre.
Limp Bizkit wasn't fun.
I loved Limp Bizkit.
Rap core.
So I saw this a couple days ago. I saw some pictures. Hopefully you got them, Rocky. A town in Portugal has been flooded with 2.2 million liters of wine, which has given a brand new meaning to the phrase, paint the town red. Now, the town found itself immersed in a sea of red wine when 2 massive tanks owned by the Lavera distillery spilled a staggering 2.2 million liters, per the Daily Mail. Now, the incident unfolded rapidly on a quiet Sunday, transforming the town into a surreal spectacle as a literal river of red wine coursed down the steep hills into a nearby river.
If I was 2018 Camus, I'd be crying right now.
I wonder how good it was.
I mean, would you put your head down and just take a little?
Just to taste it.
It's not going to kill you. Now, one unfortunate or fortunate,
like
depending
on
when
the fire hydrant explodes.
Your outlook, homeowner found their basement overwhelmed by the wine flood.
Baby, you ain't going to believe this.
Distillery issued an apology for the disastrous event, took immediate steps to mitigate the damage. In a statement, they declared, we assume full responsibility for the cost associated with cleaning and repairing the damage. This is actually not bad advertising for them if they got a big budget, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And somewhere in that stream, Rockstar, you had somebody going, man, you got a nice fin.
I like that. Very slow moving.
Nice.
This next story, I tried to read it. Elon Musk and I guess his wife's Grimes, right?
That's his wife?
That's Elon Musk's wife?
Yeah.
She looks young. How young is she, Rockstar? Do you know? Here, I'll look it up.
Question.
He's 13.
Are those really her lips?
Is dissatisfied with that photographer.
Well, it's a little off center too. It's like she's smirking kind of and moving the top lip away from the bottom lip, side to side.
His spouse is, what's her name?
Grimes.
She's not even listed on Wikipedia. He's had 3 though.
Well, anyway, they've had 3 kids. Elder son.
That girl's had 3 kids?
Yeah.
35.
No way.
She's 35? Yeah. That's younger than I thought. I mean, I thought she was younger.
You know, money can make you look younger.
Really?
He got a lot of it.
So her name is Grimes Musk?
Well,
that's a rough.
I don't think they ever got married.
That sounds like a.
Hey man, you got to get the Grimes out.
That sounds like a bad 1974 aftershave.
Yeah.
Grimes Musk.
I can't even pronounce their kids' names. So they got 3 kids. Elder son XAEAXIA, known as X. Daughter Exa Dark Siderel, known as Y, and younger son Techno Mechanicus, known as Ty.
You got to name the daughter Tesla, don't you?
According to the PennDOT biography, the couple initially considered calling their daughter Sailor Mars. This is one of the heroines in the Japanese anime Sailor Moon, which I'm sure Tyler is well versed.
Yeah, he loves it.
Give us a little backstory on Sailor Moon.
You got Sailor
Mars.
Moon? I was never a Sailor Moon fan, but that was more of my cousin's thing.
And Elon.
You got a cousin?
Who is better rolling the 16-sided die? You or the cousin?
What do you use a 16-sided die for?
I thought they did that like in Dungeons and Dragons. You never
I don't
played?
know. I've never.
Okay.
Once says it's a 20-sided.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, wow. You're such a geek. LT.
Anyway, they were going to change the kid's name to another thing, too. It was like Andromedia Synthesis Story Musk.
You think if you met Elon and Grimes, they would be the weirdest people you've ever met?
I think I could have a good conversation.
He forces it.
I think I have a good conversation with her.
You think so? With her?
Yeah.
Bad. Of course, I hit it dead on when they switched back to the
that.
wine
I
a
saw that
second ago.
Scott is conspiring against you.
Okay, this is a problem for me because I don't get a lot of DoorDash, but knowing that this is one of the reasons our buddy C. Stu will never order things like this. Delivery driver for DoorDash is no longer employed by the company after he appeared to spit on an order he had just dropped off at a house in Miami. Now, the customer, a 13-year-old, reportedly watched the driver spitting on the bag in real time via a doorbell camera, according to Telemundo 51. Now, Elisis Cristiano said, quote, "I wanted to vomit because who does that?" Now, as seen in the video, which has been shared on the Only in Dade Instagram account, the driver leaves a bag of food outside of the customer's door, then looks up at his phone, grumbles about an alleged lack of tip, then appears to lean down and spit on the bag 3 times. Literally, if you shot this guy, what do you think the repercussions are? If I'm on the jury, I'm letting you go.
Well, honest to goodness, if I'm on the jury, I may not vote to convict him.
On what grounds?
He's a despicable human.
He could have been disease-ridden and he spit on my food.
Mental insanity. I got caught up in the moment.
Yeah.
I just buy, this is book by picture, but after he spit in a bag, he looks like a guy, if you walked into his house would look like he wipes his ass with it.
With his house?
God, that would be
He does the dog scoot.
very uncomfortable.
No, I'm just talking about the house is so cluttered, it's just a complete mess.
I was watching TikTok this morning, and there was a Walmart delivery person that delivered something to a really nice house, and says on the doorbell camera, thanks for the $6.25. You live in this big house in this great neighborhood, and you couldn't drive your lazy you-know-what down to Walmart, and you only give me a $6.25 tip. I'm like, God, man, people are just so angry about stuff.
Yeah, should be tased. Not killed on that one.
Yeah.
This guy, though, he should be shot.
That guy right
for
there, you
spitting in
just
a
put a
bag.
bullet between the eyes.
He spit in the bag or on the bag?
He spit in the bag.
Yeah, now that I know it's in the bag, I thought it was on the bag.
I did too.
Yeah.
And imagine if the kid wasn't watching. So he goes in there and he eats a sandwich or his taco or whatever it was.
I mean, maybe not shot, but if we put him like in a wild game preserve and let lions loose, just see if he could survive.
Yeah,
Well, I'm not saying kill him. I'm just shoot him in the leg.
I'm just saying I wouldn't kill him either. But if somebody did shoot him and I was
Right.
on the jury,
You'd let it
by the
go?
way, jury duty rolling in December for me, I'd let the guy let him
you
go.
get Christmas jury duty.
That's what they say. We'll
Yeah.
see. I've got beliefs that sometimes prevent me from judging people.
Very deep religious sense.
What if Santa is the person they're trying to charge him for acting weird and wanting people to sit on his laps? It's like Miracle on 34th Street.
I mean,
you have to judge Santa.
I mean, I'm going to have to hear the facts, but again, I'm going to have a hard time judging not only Santa,
That's
but
right.
anybody.
Lance just does not do that on a regular
Nope,
basis.
I never do. You guys know
Tyler,
that.
can you mark that? We may need to bring this
Yes.
back at some point.
Yes.
But not what I just said.
That's all I got.
That is trash brought to you by friends at Mortgage Right.
Hey, buying a home is a major milestone in life. Getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with our friends at Mortgage Right, who do mortgages the right way. Locally owned and operated. Mortgage Right standing by to help you today. Visit their locations, Highway 280 in Birmingham, Parkway Drive in Leeds. Call 205-815-9200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
So when we come back, we will give you our pick threes and talk some more football. You can play your pick three all the way up until kick time tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central by going to nextroundlive.com. Nextroundlive.com. Thanks to our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings and our friends at mybookie.ag.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
It's time to get out and enjoy the summer of 2023. Ocean City, Maryland, and your hotel family at Residence Inn by Marriott Ocean City is ready to welcome you. Kayak from our Bayside Beach, swim in the Atlantic, dine at our Bayview Bar and Grill, span the 2.5-mile-long Ocean City Boardwalk, and a lot more. See all this plus irresistible summer deals and packages online at residenceinnoc.com. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Do something different this summer. Residence Inn by Marriott Ocean City, Maryland.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and Bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping on some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And in our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, LT takes off the gloves for in-depth conversations with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmont Vodka. Find these podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at HydroLive. Mention Next Round at checkout. Save 20% off any service. HydroLive's got 3 locations, Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone.
You hear a lot of interesting phrases while playing golf, like, I think you're on the beach, or the classic, you gotta hit it, Alice. One word you're sure to hear right now at Bentbrook Golf Club is wow. Brand new carts with complimentary GPS and the bent grass greens are so consistent, you just might drain a few more putts, Alice. Tee it up and find out for yourself. Book around today at bentbrook.com or call 428-1999. It's better at Bentbrook.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Don't miss your chance to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Open 24/7, so come on in for nonstop gaming action. You'll find the latest, hottest, most exciting games around, and you'll love the fun bonuses and big jackpots. Plus, you can watch and wager on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. Your best bet for big wins is just minutes away at Birmingham Racecourse Casino, where you can be a winner too. Birmingham Racecourse Casino off I-459, exit 31 Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
As summer bids adieu, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pests, it's fall invader season. Hold on tight, because we got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight: box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your fall. Take charge today.
Back with you on the next round. Pritch Law quickly in with his pick 3. USF, Ohio State, and Texas are his plays this weekend. USF inside the number against Alabama, Ohio State, as they play host to Western Kentucky, and Texas having to try to cover and come back down to earth against Wyoming. That's how easy it is to play the pick 3, except Pritchlaw has to not do it in the chat room, the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room. He's got to go to nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com, where you'll see the big Buffalo Wild Wings icon, and you click on that, and that will get you into the game. You play any of the Power 5 games you want to play, all right there, as long as they're Saturday games, LT, and it's brought to you by the great folks at Buffalo Wild Wings. Tell us about that new copy from our friends at B-Dubs.
11 Central Alabama locations, including the new Buffalo Wild Wings Go location in Vestavia. It's a scaled-down version of a full-size Buffalo Wild Wings, counter service offering takeout and delivery. Still the option to dine in and enjoy the games with 40 seats, multiple TVs. Stop into one of those great locations all weekend. Enjoy 26 sauces and seasonings, along with a full menu of great burgers, wraps, and salads.
All of our lines are mybookie.ag, Brownie, mybookie.ag.
Yeah, code next round. That's where I got my 3 games just now at mybookie.ag. Code next round to get that sign-on bonus up to $200 with any deposit of $50 or more.
That's where I got my line as well, mybookie.ag, mybookie.ag, promo code next round. Rockstar, get ready with a song, and we're going to give you our pick 3s here now. Again, you can play all the way up to the kick time tomorrow, nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com. And we do daily fantasy every Saturday as well. You can jump in and play that with us. Lunsford sends out links somewhere. I don't really know where he sends it out, but somehow some of you find it. Nextroundlive.com for the pick 3. Hit it, Rocky.
Pick 3, it's time for the pick 3. 3 for you and 3 for me, that equals a pick 3. Say goodbye to your family, it's time for the pick 3. Only time that I'm happy is when it's time for pick 3.
Happy now is Rockstar, because it is time for the pick 3. Tyler, if you will, show us the latest scoreboard, the leaderboard, and we'll start from the bottom and work our way to the top. Brownie is tied for the lead.
Yes.
Both are at 2-6, 2-4 out of 6 games. I am at the bottom 0-6, so I'll start us off.
Okay, Jim, you're going to work your way up.
I'm going to try to work my way up
Come
here.
on, Jimmy D.
Reverse weekend.
Reverse.
EG, if you're listening, pay attention. Here we go. My pick 3. I like North Carolina minus the 7.5 against Minnesota. So give me the Tar Heels covering against Minnesota in this one. I like Oklahoma, mainly because their backup quarterback is damn good, minus 27.5 at Tulsa. And I have no idea what gotta means.
I do.
What does it mean?
Get after their arses.
Georgia Southern is gotta, plus 19.5 as they jump around. Say it for me. You haven't said it all year. Who are they playing?
They're at Whiskey, Jimmy D.
Whiskey. Georgia Southern with a chance to pull the upset outright against Wisconsin this weekend at Camp Randall Stadium.
Now, I've heard a theory about Phil Longo's offense early on, that QB2 is so bad they don't want to run a lot of the quarterback draws and the RPOs that he ran with Drake May, and so they don't want to get Tanner Mordecai hurt. If I'm a Wisconsin fan, we got to lay it on the table. It's time for this offense to pop.
Look at Ogata back there behind you, Jimmy D.
You got your jersey
got
on?
that number 2 on. Got the number 2.
Yeah.
There
we go. All right. Rocket. So there's my 3 right there. 0-6, though, so I'm sure it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. All right, you want mine? You want me to go next?
Sure.
I like Penn State minus the 14.5. You know why? James Franklin knows what the point spread is, and he likes to cover. I do not like that half on 14. That scares me to death, 14.5. But I'm hopeful it's at 13.
Buy it down.
Buy it down with the man. Buy it down with the man. Jim, what does GATA stand for? G-A-T-A.
Get after that ass.
I think they're going to do it. Wisconsin struggles against the pass. You know Clay Helton likes to throw. They're number 1 in the Sun Belt passing, so I think Georgia Southern, I don't think they win outright. But plus 19.5 I think is a really, really good play. And then Troy gets James Madison. Here's one thing I always like to do. A team comes off a big win where they storm the field, you pick against them the next week. Not only did James Madison storm the field, they stormed the opposing field. They were at Virginia. They come off the big win. They stormed the field. I always like a team not to play flat after they storm the field. Road trip to Troy. Troy minus 3. They cover this thing easy.
Make that 3.5, by the way.
So I'm
all right, 3.5. It doesn't matter. They're going to win by double digits.
Well, you guys did duplicate on Georgia Southern.
We did.
Without knowing each other. I had mine done before you guys showed up for work today. I just wonder how much Emily Grace influences us.
Well, no.
Didn't influence me.
You got Georgia Southern too?
No. You're going whiskey.
I'm not going whiskey.
Okay.
But I do have a blowout bonanza. I'm very embarrassed that I'm 2-4. After the 3-0 here, ball in the bucket, I'm 5-4.
Week 3, we're already getting a blowout bonanza.
I have got a minus 99.5. I had to keep it under 100. 3-teamer for you. Ohio State minus the 29.5.
Well, that's a big number,
Michigan
Lance.
minus the 40.5.
crap.
And Texas minus 29.5.
Ooh, Texas off the big win.
Baths right here.
Texas off the big win. You think they're going to get
Ohio
back down?
State's going to pull it all together. Michigan, final game without Harbaugh. They're not going to lay off. And then Texas, I think they're ultra focused. So mud stompings right here.
Blowout.
Blowout bonanza
Hey,
of
those
the
are
year.
pretty good brands, right?
Those are brand name blowouts.
Yep. Have fun with that.
Those are the kind of matchups you get on weekends that are not very good on paper.
Hey, but you know what's, again, I've tried to tell you, Lance'sLock.com, the fun thing, you're like, I don't want to watch Ohio State against Western Kentucky. Well, if you're laying the 29.5 and they're up 35-0.5, you're having a good time.
That's right.
Yeah, good point. Good point. There you go. Ball in the bucket is the way to get there. Pritchlaw, who all got a ball in the bucket already?
Not me.
Pritchlaw got one in
Oh,
there.
did he now? He asked because he got one, huh?
Who else has
There's
balls
3.
in the bucket, man? Let's find out. If you've got one in the chat room already a
Show
ball
us
in the
your
bucket.
balls.
If you got 2 balls in the bucket, let us know you got both balls in the bucket. Trying to go for the trifecta this week. You can do it thanks to our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. And, of course, at mybookie.ag. One more time for Buffalo Wild Wings. Great locations everywhere, LT.
Yeah, again, Buffalo Wild Wings, 11 Central Alabama locations, including that new Buffalo Wild Wings Go location in Vestavia. They've been the #1 sports bar in Birmingham now for over 20 years. Wall-to-wall TVs with locations remodeled all over the place. 26 sauces and seasonings, along with the full menu of great burgers, wraps, and salads at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Worst home loss since 2004 for Alabama. Head coach of the last team to beat Nick Saban at home by double digits.
I know the answer to this. I don't think Lance can get it.
Oh, and this is at Alabama?
Nope. Last time he lost double digits at home.
You gave him a hint.
Well, he asked the question. I had to give him the hint.
Oh, that was probably Fran whipping that ass back in 03.
Ron Zook.
The Zooker.
19-7, Florida over LSU.
That was the weirdest game. Do you guys remember that game? That was a
was.
good LSU team and not a good Florida team, and LSU couldn't do anything that day. 19-7.
Yeah, so 19-7 was that one. And was that the year? That was after the year after. That's the year Saban ended up leaving, right? Or was there one more year at LSU?
Let's see, the Fran year was 2001. I do believe that was 02 that you're talking about.
I think it's 03.
03,
Yeah.
It was the national championship year.
They lost in the national championship
Yeah,
year?
they were one-loss national champion.
Yep, they sure were.
That
Yeah,
may have been their one loss.
that was the loss, yeah.
Okay, let's empty out everything else on these games. By the way, people are asking about the quarterback situation in Alabama. You want to do that one more time, Brown?
Again, Lance and I have both been told by numerous people now that Tyler Buchner took most snaps, more snaps with the ones, and everybody we talked to in Tuscaloosa thinks it's a sign Buchner is going to start. Now, we are not reporting he is, but I think Lance and I would qualify ourselves as both believing Buchner will start.
I can now confirm and make the call like it's an election. I have no opinion on this whatsoever.
Jim is agnostic here. He does not. He is not picking a quarterback.
I feel strong. I think I'm going to have between 11 and 15 plays tomorrow at Lance'sLock.com. We've got 2 plays up for Friday night's action, but I would include this. Tyler Buchner starts if we could get a number on it.
There has been a report that John Talty, 24/7 Sports, is reporting that Buchner will start. Talty tells me, I texted him, he said, I did not report that. That was misconstrued by CBS. So if you're getting your news, and I see it a lot in the chat room now, hey, reports that Buchner starts. If that's where you're getting it, that is not entirely true. At least that's not what Talty is reporting.
South Florida 8-1 last 9 games against the spread versus ranked teams. 8-1 against ranked teams against the spread. Alabama 2-7 against the spread as a ranked team against non-ranked teams coming up. That is Alabama, South Florida this weekend. Hugh Freeze says Auburn will draw back, pull in the reins, not rotate quarterbacks as much this week against Samford. Wyoming and Texas, Quinn Ewers coming off that huge games this past week. I was so impressed with the wide receivers in that game, specifically Worthy, Mitchell, and Sanders in this contest. You think Texas blows out Wyoming again? No love for Craig Bowl.
Now, going back home, I think that crowd's going to be excited. It's a primetime game. Wyoming is 2-0, and I think what really helps Texas here is Wyoming was down 17 at home to Texas Tech, who's a good 0-2 team, and they lost that game. So if you're Steve Sarkisian, it's a pretty easy message. Hey, if you guys were to go out there and lose to Wyoming this season, it completely crushes this season.
Yeah, I mean, he could give one of the greatest speeches of all time was Herb Brooks. After the United States beat Russia, who was it they played down away? Sweden for the gold medal?
That's right. So tough afterwards.
Yeah, so tough afterwards. And he walks in the locker room and looks at his team, and he says, all he says is, if you lose this game, you will take it to your blinking grave. And then he walks out of the locker room and looks back in and says, to your blinking grave. And that's all he ever said to his team. That's what Sark's got to tell him. If you lose this game, you'll take it to your grave.
See, Disney shouldn't have done that movie. Somebody else should have.
It's a great speech.
Don't sleep on James Madison and Troy NFL Network, part of the TV weekend coming up. We've got our Disrupt the Media free peek coming up at the top of the hour today. It's Village Vice.
That is right. Brad Law and Zach Blackerby do a phenomenal job of that show. You guys that are Auburn fans have loved it at Ward Down Pods. If you haven't seen it, you're about to get a chance.
And that is coming up without you doing anything. You just sit right there and let it wash over you. Disrupt the Media. Go follow that on YouTube. Specifically subscribe to War Damn Pods and Roll Tide Pods. We will see you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. on our kickoff show. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Another edition of Village Vice. He's Zach Blackerby. I'm Brad Law. Zach, I got to get right into it today, okay?
Okay.
We're later in the week now. It's enough with the hand-wringing over the offense. It's enough.
Okay.
I understand being a little frustrated by it because we all stayed up late. We all needed a nap on Sunday. We were all tired, and I even understand it carrying into Monday or Tuesday. But I've heard something later in this week that I think, Zach, is my least favorite phrase. You hear it from every fan base, literally every fan base, every September. You want to know what it is?
It could be a few things. Backup quarterback? I don't know.
No, here it is. Here's the phrase. If we play like that in the conference, we won't win a game. Or some variation of that. Well,
Sure.
If we play like that against blah, 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 blah. Okay, right. And if I take this cake batter and put it in the oven and I don't turn the oven on, it probably won't turn into a cake either. Of course that's the case. We don't have to say that. Can you name one coach or player in the history of the statement, if we play like that, blah, 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 that's ever come out and said, tell you what, that was it right there. That's the effort we need. We play like that, we'll win every one of them. Stop with that nonsense. It was one game. It might turn into 2 games, 3 games, 4 games. It could very well repeat itself 5, 6 more times this year. Probably won't. But when it does, that's when I don't understand the race to be the first one. Well, I said after the Cal game, if they play like that the rest of the year, it's going to. Right. Didn't take a lot of detective work to say it either. Sorry, I'm a little on edge as we get closer to game day. Zach.
No, I get it. And it's probably a good thing it's Samford this weekend, right? Or that probably even, more so.
Yeah.
But Hugh Freeze has said this throughout the week, too, in his various media appearances. And he's right. We've talked about it a little bit here as well, Brad. But a lot had to go wrong for Auburn to have the offensive performance that they did against Cal. 4 turnovers. Really 3 impacting the flow of the offense. Auburn's going to give up the football after Peyton's fumble on that 3rd play regardless, but It is what it is. Still, you'd rather punt than give it to them where they could kick a field goal, which is what they did.
Yep.
But a lot had to happen, right? And like the timeliness of Damari's fumble and Jarquez's fumble, like that's not great. I think Shane Hooks, while that wasn't an easy catch that resulted in a Peyton Thorne interception.
Yeah.
I think he catches that 2 out of 5 times. I think it's an incompletion, 2 out of 5 times, and it's a batted ball up in the air, 1 out of 5 times. And it is what it is. Props to Cal for being heads up on the play.
Yeah.
And so I just think 3 of the 4 turnovers did impact the game in a big way and killed Auburn's drives, especially those 2 fumbles when Auburn had momentum. You're not going to see that unfortunate timing again, I don't think.
No. Auburn's running backs ran the ball for over 5 yards a carry. They weren't able to convert on 3rd down at the rate that they'll probably convert. You've got to think that's one of the season low 3rd down conversion rates. And converting on 3rd down, getting first downs in general helps you play with the tempo with which you want to play, gets more plays for you. So more passing, more balance opportunities there. There are just a lot of little caveats in that game. I want to make one other comparison.
Okay.
To the Cal game. 2014, Auburn goes to Kansas State. It's a Thursday night. Routine is very different because it's a Thursday. Similar to how the routine was very different because they left on Thursday and played it in the middle of the night in Berkeley. Auburn scored 20 points that year at Kansas State. Won the game, only scored 20 points. What's wrong with that? Well, the offense plays like that. We're not going to beat LSU in 2 weeks. Well, 2 weeks later against LSU, the offense scored 41 points. In fact, Auburn scored 45 and 41 the next 2 weeks. So, again, it might repeat itself. I don't think it's likely given the amount of potential. Yeah, it's based on potential, and that's all it is at this point. But based on potential, I'd just be very surprised if you see a similar type of output, even in conference games this year.
Well, and that's why you bring in a guy to play quarterback and lead your team like Peyton Thorne. And I'm a little guilty of this, Brad, as far as what we've talked about this week, just on other shows that I've been on. But you bring in Peyton Thorne to raise the floor of your offense, not necessarily the ceiling, because Robbie has the ceiling. I think Holden Garner has the ceiling as well. And Peyton's got a decent ceiling too, but you brought him in to raise the floor of your offense. And I think it's easy to look at the micro level of this and say, well, it didn't really look like the floor was raised against Cal. But over the course of the season, I think the floor will be raised because you brought a guy in like Peyton Thorne. I mean, he's got now more than 2 years of starting experience at the P5 level, and you know what he is. And what he was Saturday night does not match the rest of it. So for all these folks that are calling out Peyton Thorne and saying to start Holden Geriner, pump the brakes. That's where I thought you were going with this, actually, is the amount of Auburn fans is that we've got to start Holden Geriner on Saturday. Stop. That doesn't help anything. The biggest issue right now on offense is there's no flow whatsoever, and changing quarterbacks right now that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I'm with you. I'm glad you opened up our final show before Auburn takes on Samford with a little, hey, let's chill.
Let's chill. What? Just
a little bit.
A little follow up to that. Just because you wear, let's say I wear this blue and white shirt, and tonight
you look very handsome in it, by the way.
Well, I look handsome in everything, but thank you for saying that.
Don't disagree.
Such false arrogance. Anyway, and let's say that tonight I go to Tiger Talk and I spill pizza on the shirt. Doesn't mean every time I wear the shirt, I'm going to spill food on it. It happened one time. I'm going to wash it. I'm going to wear it again. I like the shirt. Going to wear. It's the same type of thing. Just because something happens one time is not a guarantee that it's going to happen another time. So,
is pizza your go-to order at Baumhauer's?
For sure, 100%. Bada bing, no mushrooms every time.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to make a mistake there for sure. Those ovens that they have, top notch. You're like the only ones like that in the state. You can tell they're very, very good. They're very, very delicious. I do want to look at some of the offensive production, specifically some stats from quarterbacks. I worked on this with one of my good friends, Andrew Stefaniak, which is his birthday. Happy birthday, Andrew Stefaniak. We put a story up at auburndaily.com earlier today. 5 quarterback stats that you should think about, or at least know about, going into Samford. Brad, you are not aware of these. I have not shown you these yet, but I want to read them and get your reaction. So that's coming up in just a second on Village Vice. As a bettor, you demand perfection, and MyBookie delivers. NFL, college football, and a brand new cash out system give you options to bet and win all season long. The first 2 legs of your parlay hit. That's great. You can cash out early, or you can keep riding that train and making the cheddar with MyBookie. Join the MyBookie family. All you have to do is go to mybookie.ag. They have a no strings attached cash bonus that allows you to make deposits, withdraw quickly. Use promo code NEXTROUND, and you'll get that extra money, baby. So bet that deposit amount. Once again, you can cash out anytime. Use promo code NEXTROUND. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. All right, Brad. 5 quarterback stats. You ready to rock and roll?
I'm ready.
I just want your raw reaction to each one. You can say if it means something. You can say if it doesn't mean anything. Or if it leads you down a rabbit hole that you want to talk about, we can do it. All right. There's no rules here. Peyton Thorne is 2 of 9 on throws between 10 to 19 yards downfield. That's his worst area of the field. Intermediate passing, 10 to 19 yards downfield.
A little surprised there's only 9 attempts is my first reaction to that through the first 2 games. Wouldn't be surprised if there was 8 or 9 Saturday in the game.
I also think if you're going to beat Texas A&M, I think that's how they got to attack them.
The intermediate, the deep ball's there too against A&M, but you're not going to throw 20 deep balls. So yeah, absolutely, you got to have the accuracy, and that comes with reps. It comes like we talked both Sunday and Monday on the show about how we were surprised that there just weren't more pass attempts, period. And I think you'll see more of that going forward. So surprised the attempts are that low.
All right, number 2, Robbie Ashford is 0 for 4 on passes beyond the line of scrimmage. All of his completions have been passes behind the line of scrimmage.
Got to be more. If he's going to be more than a package quarterback, if he's going to be a quarterback, you got to have more throws down the field than that. Teams are going to do more and more to stop his running game, and they'll do more and more in general to creep closer to the line of scrimmage and to play the line of scrimmage. So whether that's passes behind the line or Robbie running, he's got to throw it more than that.
Sure. All right, number 3, Peyton Thorne is 10 of 13, so that's 76.9% for 151 yards when he's blitzed through 2 ball games. Thorne is his best statistically so far when he's being blitzed.
Ooh, Yeah, I didn't realize it was that high of a percentage.
Almost 80% when you blitz Peyton Thorne.
Yeah, I think it says a lot about the offensive line, obviously, and how far they have come. I think you point there first. And there's been some talk about, well, Peyton, he's easily rattled. Well, not necessarily. Those stats would say otherwise anyway, that his decision-making in the face of pressure has been awfully good through the first 2 games. Yeah, that bodes well going forward.
Based on that, yep. And that's 13 passes. Not a huge sample size, but still strong start there for sure. All right, my 4th stat that I want to read to you. Peyton Thorne has struggled on play action. That is his worst percentage here. He is 6 for 14, so 42.9% for 84 yards off of play action. That's his weakness right now.
So that makes me wonder, is it a footwork thing? Is it a mechanics thing? Is he rushing? That would fly in the face of the stats about when he's blitzed, though, because he's not rushing his throws. But is it something about the play action motion that affects either the way he goes through his progressions down the field, his internal timing, his footwork, his arm mechanics? There are so many little things that go into quarterback play. I just wonder if maybe that doesn't, if something about it doesn't maybe get him off kilter. Yeah.
Or did Cal just not respect the running game in the sense of they weren't going to bite on play action? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I thought that was interesting. Once again, small sample size. We're talking about 14 plays, but still worth following moving forward. All right, this last one's a little longer. On throws of 20 or more yards, Thorne is best going to the left and to the middle of the field. Deep left, so 20 yards or farther on the left hash. He's 2 for 2 for 54 yards. Deep middle, 2 for 3 for 57 yards and a touchdown. I guess that would have been to Jay Fair in the first game, I'm guessing. And then to the deep right, he's 0 for 3. Does that matter? I don't know. Small sample size yet again, but just asking you.
It is. My opinion's probably incomplete because I would like to know the receivers. I would like to know down and distance. I would like to know some other variables in this particular equation. Otherwise, I think, too small of a sample size. Typically, right-handed quarterback, you would think that right side of the field would be most accurate there. But again, it may have to do with down and distance and the corner for the defense that's playing opposite the guy on the right side. I mean, you got half a dozen variables that can impact that. But it's very interesting.
Yeah, small sample size again. That totally changes if Luke Deal turns his head around.
Yes.
No, Fromm. It was Fromm. If Fromm turns his head around against UMass, then that would have been a deep pass to the right.
So the ball to Fairweather, was he outside? Was he was on the hash or inside on 3rd down where he made that terrific catch?
I don't think that was 20 yards downfield.
Good point. Good point. They were 3rd and long, but I guess it was just short of.
And it was right at the 3rd down marker too.
Yeah,
so
like
I don't think they were over 20 yards.
Okay, fair enough.
Yep. So all right, I thought that was fun. I was just kind of going through some numbers on PFF today, and those stood out to me. So
love numbers. Love the numbers like that. And it'll be interesting to know, like 2 weeks from now, after the Texas A&M game, what those numbers look like at that point.
Yeah, no question. No question about it. And also, like, if there's tendencies, do they go more? I think they're going to throw more deep balls on Saturday.
Yes.
I think they're going to have to. I think it's going to be part of this offense because that's who you went out and got. That's why you went out and got a Shane Hooks. That's why you went out and got a Jair Shorter. That's why, Javarius Johnson and Jay Fair add so much pop to this offense. Rivaldo Fairweather maybe the same way. So, I just think you got to use these guys that you went out to get. You've got to fix the passing game. And I think that's a big part of how you can do it.
It is interesting that the 2 guys who have gotten the praise from the receiver spot are guys who are here.
Already here. Yep.
And I don't want to discredit the amount of work that they put in. Jay Fair is an incredibly accomplished receiver coming out of Dallas. He was good. Javarius Johnson, electric speed. He's been productive his first couple of years, but it is surprising. And I'm just taking a quick look at the receiving stats here. Shane Hooks has 2 catches. Jair Shorter does not have a catch. If you had told me that through 2 games, Hooks and Shorter would combine for 2 catches, wouldn't have believed it.
And I think Shorter has 1 target all year. Is that right? I think he got
Yeah.
targeted once this past week, and I think that was it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me. I would have never, ever guessed that. I mean, that's just amazing. It just doesn't fully make sense to me. Yeah, Shorter has one target across 2 games. Yeah.
I just wouldn't have believed it. And so credit Javarius and Jay and the job that they have done to become the guys. Do you think, by the way, in the game Saturday, does Jay Fair make it 3 for 3? Does he have a touchdown catch Saturday?
I think so.
I do too. I do
so.
too.
I think a lot of guys are going to score touchdowns on Saturday.
Wonder when the last time an Auburn receiver had touchdowns in 3 straight games.
Ooh. That's a fun stat to look up.
Yeah.
You have to go back a while.
Yeah, we could do that. Or as you watch, just comment if you know the answer, and we'll look it up and see if you're right.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Little Village Vice 6-pack action.
Ooh, it's Thursday. That's right.
Before we do that,
I'm so underdressed for this.
You're dressed perfectly. Tell you what, people love the ball. That's a fancy ball cap you got there.
Why? Thank you.
I got to get one of those. That's pretty good. Lance's lock. See, I was about to say locked on, and it
you saw the hat. Yeah,
stole my attention. Lance's lock. Like, you can take our advice on some of these games that we're picking. We're picking these games straight up in the Village Vice 6-pack. If you want to get serious about it, though, you need plays. You need lanceslock.com. You can still get right now the best price on the monthly packages and the annual packages. The annual package is the way to go, believe me, because you're going to go so far beyond the football season. We get into basketball. We get, it's comprehensive. Sign up today for the best deal at lanceslock.com. Now, the Village Vice 6-pack, if you are unfamiliar, if you're just coming on board with us, every week we're going to pick 6 games, including Auburn's game. We're just going to pick them straight up. Just straight up. We're not. We'll give you the spreads for your knowledge, but we're just picking the game straight up, and a heavy emphasis on the SEC. So this week, Zach, we have 3 games that we're going to pick that involve ranked teams.
Okay.
Kansas State is ranked 15th. They're going to Columbia, Missouri. Kansas State destroyed Troy a week ago. Kansas State is a 3.5-point favorite. Seems low.
Does seem low. Give me Kansas State. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're in agreement on that. I have not seen from Missouri anything that would make me think they're less than a touchdown underdog in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Kansas State's so well coached. Missouri isn't. And neither of them have the talent to really blow you away. There's not a big mismatch there that would go in Missouri's favor. So yeah, give me Kansas State.
All right, very good. We're in agreement on that one. How about 14th ranked LSU at Mississippi State? LSU, a nearly 10-point favorite. They get 9.5 points at Mississippi State. LSU in its last 5 games is 2-3. Mississippi State in its last 5 games, 5-0.
Yeah, but they've only played 2 games this year, and that's all that really matters. I don't think stats dating back to last year matter. Maybe if you're looking at the individual stats, but as a team, with a portal now, so much changes from a roster from year to year, especially Mississippi State. Boy, a lot's happened to them, since last season. So I think people keep trying to convince me that Mississippi State is good and they're going to beat some teams they're not supposed to. So let's see it, Mississippi State. I'm not picking you this weekend, but I am excited to see if all of these people that are Mississippi State truthers are correct. I can't wait to see it. This is probably the game I'm most excited about this weekend outside of Auburn Samford, just because, one, who is LSU? And 2, who is Mississippi State? I think we learn a lot about both of these teams, but I am picking LSU.
Yeah, I think we learn a lot. LSU looked so much better last week. Anybody looks better against Grambling, with all due respect to Grambling. Mississippi State has the better win of the 2. And this just seems like a screwy start to the year in the Western Division. I will go ahead and call for it. I think Mississippi State upsets LSU in Starkville. I think those cowbells are going to be ringing long into the night in Starkville.
Yeah, I mean, Starkganistan, they deserve it. There's no question about it. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm going with LSU. So good, we differ on one. That's fine.
Yes, we do. All right, 11th ranked Tennessee is at Florida. Tennessee just a 6-point favorite. It has been 20 years since the Volunteers won in Gainesville.
Yeah, I think they're going to be able to start that clock over. I think Tennessee is going to be able to do this. And I don't think this really means anything about Tennessee. I'm still a little skeptical of Tennessee, but Florida's terrible. Florida's so bad. So it's going to take a lot for me to pick Florida over anybody for the rest of the year. So, yeah, I'm going with Tennessee.
It wasn't just that Florida didn't look good against Utah. It was that even in their get better game last week, like all they did was run the ball. That's all they did. They weren't aggressive. They weren't imaginative. They just, hey guys, we need a win. Let's just go get a win. Let's get a win and get out of here is what it looked like. So kind of from a distance. I'm with you. Tennessee, Joe Milton's been fine. He has 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's never thrown an interception at Tennessee, and he's completing literally 2/3, 67% of his passes. They'll do enough. Florida won't be able to run, and Tennessee will get the win.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, compelling game here. 2-0 BYU, 2-0 Arkansas. Arkansas is a real pedestrian-looking 2-0 at this point in the season, in my opinion. Arkansas an 8-point favorite at home. Any chance for the Cougars?
I think so. I'm going to pick BYU here. I think BYU wants it more. I think all the pressure is on Arkansas. And as of so far, I mean, everybody kind of gave a lot of love to Arkansas over the course of the offseason, and I haven't seen them do really anything to back it up. Yes, KJ is very good. KJ has got great stats leading up into the season, but I'm going to take BYU. You pick Mississippi State to upset. I'm taking BYU to upset. And based on your response to that, I don't think we're going to agree on this one.
No, we don't. I'm not overly impressed with Arkansas, but I do think they'll do enough. I would probably pick BYU to cover. I think 8 points is too many, but that's not what we're doing here in the Village Vice 6-pack.
Yep, I'm calling it. I'm calling the upset here.
8th-ranked Washington is at Michigan State. Washington's a 16.5-point favorite. Michael Penix Jr., I think, is a top 3 quarterback in the country.
Wow.
But boy, Michigan State's going to play. They're either going to play flatter than they've ever played, or they will play out of their minds for their embattled coach. I just don't know if it's enough to beat a more talented and a much more explosive team in Washington.
Yeah, Washington's really good. They're a good football team. And I think with the depth of what the Pac-12 has to offer this year in its final year, Washington and Utah are kind of getting forgotten in all this because everybody's looking at, Oregon, and everybody's looking at Caleb Williams, the reigning Heisman Trophy winner in USC, and Colorado. But there's a lot of other good teams there. Utah's very good. We'll see if Cal's good. A lot of Auburn fans think they're really, really good. I'm still kind of on that, but yeah, obviously Washington's a good team. And then look, Oregon State. A lot of people think really highly of Oregon State as well. So I mean, that is such a good conference, and they know what's at stake. And look, Washington's going to the Big Ten next year. This isn't just a game for them. This is an opportunity for them and Kalen DeBoer, their coach, to go in and say, hey, we belong here. We're not here just out of charity because we had to leave the sinking ship that was the Pac-12. We belong here, and we're going to show you. So, yeah, I think Washington, and I actually think Washington by a lot.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. It's a declaration that we're not just coming to join. We will actually elevate the Big Ten.
Yeah, and I think they will.
Yep. All right, finally, Auburn and Samford. Just take half a second.
This is tough. I'm going to let you go first on this one.
Auburn wins the game. Auburn looks not as good as you'd like in the first quarter, but by the end of it, you're pretty happy when it's all said and done with how Auburn looked in an easy win over a homecoming opponent.
Do you think they win by more than they did against UMass?
Was that 52? No, I don't. I
don't think I do either.
But I think
and most places aren't even putting out the line for this game, which is kind of lame. But
some don't, I guess, with the FBS against the FCS opponent. I can see a 52-13 type of game or a 55-6 type game, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, does Auburn get to 60?
I don't think so.
Okay. 50-10, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I think I'll be surprised if the start is as fast as what everybody wants, just because you start fast on Saturday if you start fast on Monday, Tuesday. And I can't help but think there's a little bit of slow wheel turning to get back into the groove after the California trip.
Yeah, I talked with some Samford reporters throughout the week, and they're like, look, Samford's not going to win this game, but they are going to do a lot of stuff on offense that may result in some chunk yardage here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I'll give them a fluky score, and then I think that'll be about it. So, yeah, I'm thinking like low 50s to 10, something like that.
There you go. All right, Zach.
That six-pack was refreshing, Brad Paul. I need to wear a collared shirt on Thursdays moving forward, but I think that about does it, right? We'll talk after the game on Sunday.
Yes, we will. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Remember, everyone has vices. Make sure Village Vice is one of yours.